But let's hand over to our commentary team at Loftus Road for the West London derby between Queen's Park Rangers and Chelsea. David Pleat has run as only he can from this television centre to Loftus Road. It's not too far. And alongside him, Mike Ingham. And first, Nigel Adderley.
Yes, thank you, Ian. And the message to Chelsea is to follow that. And if they can, with 3 points here today, they will, in the short term at least, become Manchester City's closest challengers at the top of the Barclays Premier League. And David Pleat, as you say, has made the short journey from the BBC television centre. He can't hear me at the moment. Hopefully we'll rectify that in a few moments' time. But David, the Chelsea players were downstairs in the close, cramped confines of the tunnel down here. I'm sure they were watching the game between Manchester United and Manchester City. And what will that do to them? Because they've seen one of their potential title challengers be blown away by another today.
Yes, I mean, listen, it'll be in their subconscious, but I don't think there's any doubt that they'll be focusing on this game as they've been concentrating on discussing this game during the week in training. They've got good support here today. They know it's a local derby. It may not have the same local derby significance as a Manchester derby, but in West London there is bragging rights too, and QPR will be absolutely desperate today to make their mark and show Chelsea that they're not just have come up to the Premiership for the ride. I think Chelsea will be heavy favourites, I'm sure of that, but I think that QPR will give them a really strong game. And of course, once again, we emphasise the first goal will be so important. If Chelsea do get it, they have the quality of player to keep the ball and to make it very difficult for QPR. If QPR get that first goal, it will inspire them to make a great effort here to make sure that Chelsea go home without 3 points.
And this was the one game Queen's Park Rangers fans were looking at when the fixtures came out in June. This is the big game for them. Some Chelsea fans, as you say, may look at other sides in the Premier League, but looking around this stadium, the atmosphere pre-match, it almost feels like an FA Cup tie with a lower division side playing the big boys.
It does indeed. I mean, you have the underdogs quite clearly who are going to be kicking from left to right, and we have Chelsea all in black, you know, who are the kings of West London in the last few years. But it's a lovely enclosed ground, the grass looks beautiful, it's a lovely bright day, we should see a good game, and more importantly, the breeze has dropped slightly.
Yes, lovely, warm autumnal sunshine here in West London. Chris Foy, our referee, is about to get the game underway. Queen's Park Rangers in their famous blue and white hoops, white shorts and white socks. Chelsea in their change strip today, all black with turquoise checks across the shoulders. Didier Drogba and Juan Mata get the game off and underway. Our main commentary of the day here on BBC 5 Live. An astonishing day in the Premier League already, and if Chelsea can win this match here today, they will move above Manchester United, behind Manchester City, right at the top of the table. And it's no surprise, an early challenge coming in, an early player goes to ground, and an early free kick for Chelsea.
Yes, David Luiz, that familiar mop of hair, is going to take it. Basingwa pushes well forward. Chelsea, of course, playing with their split front three, Mata on the left, Drogba in the centre, and Sturridge. Everyone's very interested today to see the comparisons between Sturridge and Wright Phillips.
Dreadful free kick from Luiz, straight onto the chest of the Rangers captain Joey Barton, who finds Adderley back in the QPR team today after being dropped for the draw against Blackburn 8 days ago, but he gives the ball away. And here's Sturridge for Chelsea on the far side there, right, back in field towards Drogba, and Sturridge again with a left foot shot. He dragged it rather after finding the opening on the edge of the penalty area, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, rather unusually, Sturridge came on the inside of Clint Hill there. He was looking for the 1-2. Clint Hill, who's come in for Traore in the left back position, just been at Nottingham Forest on loan. Sturridge could be a very dangerous contender on that right-hand side, because Hill is very left-footed, he's very strong, he's very tough, but he hasn't got the nimbleness that Sturridge is going to pose problems to him today with.
A reminder of the teams again: Queen's Park Rangers, Paddy Kenny in goal, a back four, Luke Young, Anton Ferdinand, Fitz Hall and Clint Hill, Sean Wright-Phillips, formerly of Chelsea, Alejandro Forlan, Sean Derry and Joey Barton, the captain in midfield, Heider Helgeson and Adel Taarabt in attack. For Chelsea, 5 changes following their 5 goals against Genk in the Champions League. None of them a surprise. Petr Cech in goal, Jose Basingwa, John Terry, David Luiz and Ashley Cole the back four, Frank Lampard, Raul Meireles and John Obi Mikel in midfield, Juan Mata and Daniel Sturridge either side of Didier Drogba in attack, as Cole gives the ball away down the near side, challenged by Barton, and now it's the grey-haired Sean Derry who plays the ball infield towards Helgeson. It's lofted over the top, hopefully looking for Taarabt, and Petr Cech will allow the ball to dribble behind in front of those Chelsea fans in the school end away to our right hand side, and that's a Chelsea goal kick. David, what are your thoughts about Adel Taarabt playing here today?
Well, it's obviously a big stage for him today, and I think Neil Warnock's challenged him to say, right, we're playing against one of the best teams in the Barclays Premiership. Go and show everyone, play in a disciplined way, play sensibly, but show them your undoubted talent. I think it's a great challenge for him today. He's not an easy player, of course, to either motivate or indeed to work with during the week.
And Didier Drogba is felled comprehensively by Sean Derry midway inside the Queen's Park Rangers half, and that will be a Chelsea free kick. Sean Derry, who challenged Drogba there, described Adel Taarabt earlier this season as half genius, half child, and I think that's about right at times.
Yeah, bits and pieces.
3 minutes played here, BBC 5 Live at Loftus Road in West London. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Chelsea 0, but Chelsea here have a free kick about 45 yards from goal. Lampard clips it high into the area. Luis is the target. He challenges Derry in the air, and the ball deflects off neither of them, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Quite a clever little wedge chip, that one, by Frank Lampard. It was a very straight ball. Often those balls carry on to the goalkeeper. They've got no width on the angle of delivery, but it was a clever ball. Luis knew exactly what to expect, and he ran behind the QPR defence and almost was successful in getting a touch and maybe getting a shot at Kenny's goal.
Frank Lampard making his 500th Premier League appearance here today, and rumours of his demise have been very much exaggerated. 5 goals at the start of the new season for him, but a wonderful noise all around Loftus Road, this ground which always looks like 4 upturned blue shoeboxes. Very compact and very, very noisy here today. A crowd in excess of 19,000, the largest in the Premier League they've had here this season, as Cole heads it forward for Mata for Chelsea, down this near side in the weak sunshine. Now Lampard again, found by Terry, and on towards McHale, and Chelsea here just trying to take the sting out of the home crowd's fervour in the opening stages, as Sturridge does well to battle away from the challenge down this near side of Sean Wright-Phillips. Wright-Phillips, though, is back there and does well to win the ball and come away with it for Queen's Park Rangers. Up towards the halfway line, tries to play a 1-2 with Helgeson. It's back towards the Icelandic player again, and now Hill can take the sting out of Chelsea by finding Anton Ferdinand, and it's back with the goalkeeper Paddy Kenny. 5 minutes played here at Loftus Road. It's goalless. A reminder, elsewhere in the Premier League already, the story of the season, the story of many seasons. Manchester United 1, Manchester City 6, the full-time score at Old Trafford. More to that coming up on 5 Live later on in the programme. We'll hear from Sir Alex Ferguson at half-time. Arsenal 3, Stoke 1. Another scoreline today. Robin van Persie coming off the bench to score 2 late goals for Arsenal, and Sahar and Rodwell scored an injury time for Everton in their 3-1 win away to Fulham. And at half-time it was Blackburn 1, Spurs 1 at Ewood Park, as Louise brings it forward for Chelsea. Wide to the far side of Bosingwa, back towards Louise again, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Fine challenge though from the Argentine Forlan, and Queen's Park Rangers clear up towards the halfway line. Now Morelos has it back for Chelsea. Important signing following his move from Liverpool. And John Obi Mikel plays it square from right to left towards this near side. And you'll hear the boost for Ashley Cole. Infield towards Mata, but his pass doesn't find Lampard. It's picked up by Forlan, but significantly there, David, there was nobody ahead of Forlan to really keep the Queen's Park Rangers attack going.
No, Forlan and Terry play at the base of a triangle, the two of them. Taarabt plays in front of them. And I've noticed already that when the two centre-halves of Chelsea split and Mikel goes back to have it off the keeper, I think Tarrett's got to go and play more forward and try and make a third front man a little bit quicker. At the moment you've got Helgeson playing up front, and of course Wright-Phillips and Barton's on the right, Wright-Phillips is on the left. They need Tarrett to get in support as quickly as possible, or else Chelsea are going to dominate the possession.
6 minutes played here. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Chelsea 0. Taarabt tries to scramble around the challenge of John Obi Mikel on the far side, and Chris Foy has given Queen's Park Rangers their first free kick 10 yards inside the Chelsea half on the far side, the Rangers left, and this will be the key for the big men to rumble forward, the likes of Anton Ferdinand and Fitz Hall towards the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Chelsea have been suspect at times from set pieces so far this season, and this the opening opportunity for Queen's Park Rangers. Barton, high and diagonal towards the far post, over the head of Fitzhall, and it's gathered very simply by Petr Cech.
Yeah, you can't hang that ball high in the air. You've got to play him with pace, or else, he comes up and picks it out so easy, does Petr Cech.
Drogba down this near side, a neat back heel infield to find Cole, and Mata again. Cole on the overlap, comes back in field, needs some support and finds it now from Morelos. Options to his left and right. He may think about the shot, but he plays it wide to the right-hand side, and Sturridge low to looking for Morelos again at the second time of asking, in behind him and Sean Derry, and through towards Paddy Kenny. We played 8 minutes, it's 0-0, and here are the early thoughts of David Pleat.
Well, Chelsea started in reasonably comfortable fashion. They need to get to Tarat on the ball, QPR, if they're going to be effective. I think he has to be brave and push on as much as possible to try and help Helguson.
A long ball forward, Helguson goes down inside the penalty area. It's a penalty! The challenge from David Luiz, and he cannot believe it. Time seemed to stand still there as Helguson chased inside the area. He went down in instalments, but Chris Foy has given the penalty, and Chelsea are furious.
Well, first reaction, and we do have to make a first reaction. We can always see the replays later. I don't think there was hardly anything there at all. He might have just touched him in the top.
There was contact, David.
Yeah, in the top of his back there. It was a little bit of a push as the ball was bouncing, and Helguson went down. He just pushed him off balance. There is no doubt he did push him off balance, and we've seen it before with Luiz. He has these rash moments when he does something that is not calm and composed for a so-called top defender.
And Adel Taarabt wanted to take the penalty, but Joey Barton has dragged him away. Helguson will take the penalty for Queen's Park Rangers. Low and right-footed, and he scores. Cech got a hand to it, but couldn't keep it out. And Queen's Park Rangers take the lead in the West London derby. And what a dramatic day this is in the Premier League. Manchester United concede 6 at home, and Chelsea trail Queen's Park Rangers by a goal to 0.
Yeah, 9 minutes gone. Helguson put that one to the right of the tall goalkeeper. He guessed correctly, but as it was going down, he stuck his arm up to try and deflect the ball, but he could only put it in towards the top of his net. Quite a clever penalty by Helguson, but I have to say, slightly fortunate. He just went down a little bit too early, otherwise I think he would have had that one.
But the thing with Luiz is he gave him the opportunity to go down deep inside the penalty area.
Yeah, listen, it was a silly challenge. We've already seen him marauding forward. We'll just wait for this attack to develop.
And now Cole at the other end tries to hurdle the challenge of Fitzhall inside the area. He fouled the Rangers defender, and Chris Foy has given Queen's Park Rangers a free kick. And just listen to the noise all around Loftus Road. They've waited 15 years to play Chelsea in a league derby, and their side lead by a goal to 0.
I'm not quite sure if we booked David Luiz for that challenge, actually. I don't think Chris Foy did. There is an inconsistency amongst referees when players concede penalties.
You could argue he was the final man.
But yes, it was a final man, but there was no way it was a red card. I mean, he was going away from the goal. He was going towards the byline. He was in a harmless position. Luiz didn't really have to challenge him there, I didn't think.
10 minutes gone, a real story developing here. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0. Back to Ewood Park into the second half, and Conor McNamara.
And another goal for Tottenham. They now lead Blackburn by 2 goals to 1, and it's that man again, Rafael van der Vaart. This one was an absolute peach, struck from well outside the penalty area, right into the top corner. It had been coming as well. Tottenham have been good in this second half. Blackburn 1, Tottenham 2.
Thank you, Conor. And in the build-up to that penalty, it was significant. Taarabt wanted to take it, but Joey Barton, the captain, pulled him away, gave Helguson the responsibility, and he will feel that was justified. 11 minutes played. 5 live sport from the BBC. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0. Early days, but the Rangers fans here are jubilant as Barton hacks Cole down on the halfway line, and the free kick given to Chelsea. And Queen's Park Rangers now need to keep things settled. There's a long ball played forward by Lampard, looking for Drogba, and it's gathered well by Kenny.
Yeah, Barton just got a little too tight there as Cole tried to nick the ball round him. He couldn't avoid him. He's now having a word with Cole and saying, look, I never intended to foul you there. But before he gave the free kick, Chelsea took it quickly. Kenny collects it and hoists it downfield.
A long ball played forward again from Kenny. This time Helguson challenges with Luiz inside the area, and there's some afters there. I think Luiz saying to Helguson, you went down very easily previously, and Helguson says, look, you gave me the chance to go down.
Well, I think he did, but at the same time, it wasn't Helgeson who gave the decision, nor was it Louise, it was the referee. And Foy did give it immediately. It wasn't as though, I don't think he consulted an assistant or anything like that. In fact, the assistant's on the opposite side of the field. So a dramatic start, but it gives Chelsea plenty of time if they're good enough. I'm sure they are, to get back into this game.
Derry challenges Lampard, the ball loops high towards the edge of the Chelsea area. Helgeson was lurking again, and it's gathered by Czech. Chelsea haven't lost to a promoted side for 10 years and 63 games since Charlton won at Stamford Bridge way back in 2001, but they're trailing here as Cole heads infield towards Drogba with the bright, luminous yellow boots, but he gives the ball away. Derry dabs it wide to this near side, looking for the run of the overlapping Luke Young, and the ball's overhit, and it's a throw-in, and there are boos for the Chelsea captain, John Terry. 13 minutes played here. Chelsea trail Queen's Park Rangers by a goal to nil. Heider Helgeson scoring only his second goal of the season, and so far he's the only Queen's Park Rangers player to have scored a goal for them here at Loftus Road in the Premier League. Basingwa swings a high ball into the penalty area from the Chelsea right, headed away by Ferdinand, and that will be a Chelsea throw-in just inside the Queen's Park Rangers half. And Chelsea have made so many rapid starts this season. 4 goals in the opening half hour at Bolton, 4 goals before half-time against Genk in the Champions League on Wednesday, but a very different story so far today. Drogba's back heel, finds Sturridge on the edge of the penalty area, a chance to move inside, but his shot hits Clint Hill and goes behind for a corner.
Yeah, Sturridge looks a potential danger if they can feed him the ball enough on that far right-hand side.
And it's 15 years since Queen's Park Rangers and Chelsea met in the Premier League. Paul Furlong scored the late winner for Chelsea on that occasion as Matip plays the corner high into the penalty area. Moreles right towards Lampard with a shot right-footed, and it clatters off the scoreboard behind the goal, and it's a goal kick to Queen's Park Rangers.
Wasn't an easy effort to take. Came to him on the half volley. He hit it unerringly, but it just veered way above Paddy Kenny's bar.
14 minutes played here. 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers, and since that goal scored by Heider Helgeson, the penalty on 9 minutes, Neil Warnock consistently has almost been telling his players to calm down and think. He's been pointing the finger to the side of his temples to get his team to calm down and try and assess the situation they're in, but it's not easy, David, in an atmosphere like this.
No, it's a hot atmosphere, but at the same time, good players take the pace out of the game. They keep calm, they work the ball, they're patient. We'll see how Chelsea react to this. Don't expect QPR now, having got the platform of the 1-goal lead, to tear forward over the next 20 minutes without any caution. They'll be very sensible when they go forward. They'll make sure they get as many men behind the ball as quickly as possible, and you can expect Chelsea to dominate possession.
Basingwa comes in field and finds Lampard, and now wide towards Cole on the edge of the Rangers penalty area, down the left, infield towards Lampard again. Mikel offers support, but he gives Lampard the ball back where he didn't really need it, and all of a sudden Chelsea get themselves congested and give the ball away. A back heel now from Barton to find Taarabt, a couple of step overs from him. Languid play towards this near side. Barton towards Taarabt again, and now Forland. Barton infield to Derry. Good play from Queen's Park Rangers, and now Sean Wright-Phillips tries to clip the ball on towards the edge of the penalty area. He believes he was fouled by Basingwa. Chris Foy gives nothing, and Chelsea can bring the ball away. But that's good football. That will give Rangers some confidence.
Very good. Barton linking with Taarabt. We've heard all sorts of stories that they don't get on, and you know, Barton's trying to educate Taarabt. I'm not sure how in the way he plays, but they played very well together there and set up a good move. Forlan was involved, Derry was involved, and the supporters really appreciated the movement and the passing.
16 minutes played. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0, but Chelsea moving forward now with Basingwa on the far side, the right, low ball in towards the near post, takes a deflection off either Clint Hill or Sean Wright-Phillips and goes behind for a corner. Of course, earlier on today, Manchester United 1, Manchester City 6. The astonishing full-time score at Old Trafford. Sir Alex Ferguson has said, it was our worst day ever. It's the worst result in my history ever. Even as a player, I don't think I ever lost 6-1. And we'll hear more from Sir Alex Ferguson at half-time in this game, where Chelsea trail Queen's Park Rangers by a goal to nil. Elsewhere, Arsenal beating Stoke 3-1. Everton winning at Fulham by 3 goals to 1. And as we heard from Conor McNamara a few moments ago, Spurs leading at Blackburn by 2-1. In Scotland today, Rangers beat Hearts 2-0 in the early kickoff. Mata with a deep corner for Chelsea, way too deep into the penalty area. Bodies go tumbling all over the place. Clint Hill has John Obi Mikel in a headlock, and Mikel is penalised, and that will be a free kick. And Mikel there, rather unwisely, has a couple of words on the way back to the halfway line for Chris Foy.
Yeah, he's just got to be careful. So important in these very stern conflicts, local derbies. You've just got to keep your discipline. You must keep your discipline. We saw what happened to United earlier today when they had a player sent off. They just collapsed as the game went towards the end.
There's Johnny Evans sent off for United when it was 1-0 right at the start of the second half, and they never recovered with 10 men, as Mikel almost gives the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area. He was helped out there by the shaggy-haired Luiz, and it's back with Petr Cech under the scrum cap, defending the Chelsea goal away to our right-hand side. 18 minutes played, a dramatic start to this game as well. Queen's Park Rangers lead Chelsea by 1-0. The penalty from Heider Helguson in the 10th minute after Luiz's foul on the same player had controversially given Queen's Park Rangers the opportunity to take the lead.
Chelsea there held a high line, and Luiz came forward with the ball. Drogba ran way offside, acknowledged that he was offside. The ball runs through to Paddy Kenny. It always seems a small pitch here. It isn't, of course. It's a good-sized pitch, but of course with the ground or the terraces or the seating areas being so enclosed, it always gives the feeling of being a small pitch.
It's only 1 yard shorter than Chelsea's, but of course at Chelsea where we have a fantastic panoramic view of Stamford Bridge, and the pitch appears far bigger, as Queen's Park Rangers are awarded a free kick, a foul on Helguson again. He's a veteran, Helguson, now 34. Many people believe he wouldn't really feature in the Premier League, but he's causing problems at the moment, David.
Yeah, he has a quality, and that is that he's a very good leaper. He's good in the air, and he can cause some problems in the air if they get enough balls into him. He's got a really good leap, and it'll be maybe Luiz that marks him.
Tarat with the free kick into the penalty area. Dreadful delivery into the arms of Petr Cech, and there's a goal at Parkhead in Scotland. Roddy Forsyth.
Well, Aberdeen have turned up trumps here. They came out at the start of the second half looking well organised, looking determined. The Celtic fans are most unhappy, and that's because Ryan Jack was allowed to beat 3 players in the heart of the penalty area and turn the left foot shot past Foster. Celtic 1, Aberdeen 1.
Thanks, Roddy. So Rangers moved 9 points clear earlier on today, and they're in a very strong position. Here, Queen's Park Rangers lead by 1-0, but they're defending. Moreles on the edge of the penalty area, square towards Ashley Cole in space. A left foot shot from him went all the way through beyond Paddy Kenny and half a yard wide. And let's go back to Ewood Park and Conor McNamara.
Yeah, still Blackburn 1, Tottenham 2. Both Tottenham goals from Raphael van der Vaart. But this is all about the 2 goalkeepers who are former players of the respective opponents. Brad Friedel's just made an excellent save there to deny Chris Samba. Paul Robinson has been brilliant down the other end. Blackburn 1, Tottenham 2.
And at the moment, David Pleat, this game almost becoming attack against defence.
Well, we've just had an attack there where Mata was very well placed actually when Ashley Cole went forward. He acknowledged that Mata was free after it had the shot which went past Kenny's far post. But QPR, I have to say, are countering quite well, mainly with the pace down the left of Sean Wright-Phillips, who's trying to run Chelsea back.
And after Wright-Phillips won the ball on the far side, he played the ball infield towards Tarat, who was given the ball away. And now it's Chelsea in all black, moving forward on the far side there right, with Sturridge. A decent looking ball into the area, looking for Mata, but coming across to make the challenge was Anton Ferdinand, and that will be a throw-in to Chelsea midway inside the Queen's Park Rangers half. And that looked like a foul throw from Basingwa, but nothing given, as Luiz on the charge now, the man who gave away the penalty scored by Helder Helguson. Basingwa on towards Luiz again, who goes down inside the area dramatically, looking for a penalty as Sean Wright-Phillips made a token challenge, and Chris Foy gave nothing, and the home side, the Hoops, bring the ball away. 21 minutes played. Queen's Park Rangers lead Chelsea by 1-0, and the flag must be up here as Helguson was played through by Tarat, but we can see clearly offside.
David Luiz has just got to be careful. He's a real buccaneer of a centre-half. He loves racing through and with the ball. It's unusual in the British game to see centre-backs playing that way, but he's just got to be careful that he's very seems an excitable character for a central defender, and sometimes when he goes forward he carries that excitement on into the opposition half, and he's just got to be careful because he's very liable to have a fight or a foul tackle or upset the referee with his verbals.
He appears to be a typically Brazilian defender in that he's often more comfortable in the opposition half, as Bosingwa plays a low ball into the penalty area and it's hooked over his own crossbar by Ferdinand at the near post.
Yeah, Bosingwa beginning to make some tracks down that right side, which he can afford to do, of course. He's got Obi Mikel, who's the sitting midfield player. So Bosingwa, when they've got tight possession, he can go forward with confidence and hope to receive balls in good areas to get balls into the box.
And the stewards having to intervene on the far side to allow Lampard the space to move off the pitch and take this corner. It's an outswinger low into the near post. Luiz tries to glance it towards goal and it's gone behind for a goal kick, and there's a dismissive wave of the arm from Luiz as Chris Foy doesn't give Chelsea another corner.
Yeah, Mr. Foy immediately looked over at his assistant. I think it wasn't easy for him to make the correct decision there, but his assistant advised him and finished up with the correct decision.
Well, we've gone beyond the midpoint of the first half. Queen's Park Rangers lead Chelsea by a goal to nil through to half-time with Mike Ingham.
Well, it is an extraordinary day, and the theme continues here. 19 goals, I think, already today in the Premier League. I'm not sure we finished yet. 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. Free kick to Chelsea. Bosingwa just short of the halfway line. Leaves it to Mikel. If you're just joining our commentary, the goal which gave Queen's Park Rangers the lead, a penalty from Helgeson. Czech got a hand to it after a push by Luiz in the penalty area. And now Chelsea trying to get on terms, and they have Mata on the ball down below on the left-hand side. In the sunshine, lays the ball off to Drogba, and now Drogba is hit it to the far side. It's not even going to go behind for a goal kick. It's going to be a throw-in, I think, over on the far side for Queen's Park Rangers, much to the delight of the home fans here. So just in case you've been out all day, the score in the Manchester derby: United 1, City 6. We've had a 3-1 victory for Arsenal against Stoke. Also today, Everton with a late rally beat Fulham 3-1. And Spurs are leading 2-1 at Blackburn on a day when all 5 of the London clubs in the Premier League are playing on a Sunday. I can't believe that ever happens apart from the last day of the season. Throw in over on the far side. Somebody lost their rag just then from Chelsea. Frustration. Throw to QPR. And it's going to be taken by Hill. Hill trying to get distance with the throw towards the halfway line. Flicked on, but it's back inside the Queen's Park Rangers half. And now collected by Derry. Down the centre it goes. Little flick from Tarap. Doesn't work for Wright Phillips. And now Bosingwa under pressure from Wright Phillips. Wants to give the ball back. And eventually does. And checks in possession for Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea playing quite a high line, and a rather dangerous ball by Peter Cech to David Luiz there. And he has to almost dribble himself out of trouble. But poor play that by Chelsea.
Chelsea just haven't settled. And QPR haven't allowed them to either. As Mikel now finds Ashley Cole. Near side the left. They've not got Mata on the ball enough really from Chelsea's point of view in the opening stages. Mikel sidesteps the challenge which came in from Forlan, and now Mireles drives forward and then slips over and then handles the ball as well. The referee doesn't need to stop the game because QPR have possession, but he's committed to the whistle as Chris Foy, and
he raises his hands as though to say to the QPR players, I really am sorry, I have made a mistake there, I should have let play go on, I didn't, I was a bit impetuous to blow. And as a consequence of that, he's punished Rangers. Mireles fell. Rangers were in a clear breaking position, even though it was in the middle third of the field.
Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0. And Paddy Kenny comes a long way out of his goal to take the free kick for Rangers. Looks for Helgeson, who's got that leap that David Pleat was talking about. He won the ball. Chelsea very slow to clear. Barton finds Forlan. Wright Phillips made a burst, but the ball goes square to Hill, the fullback. Good passing and moving here from QPR, and now Bosingwa will clear towards Mireles. Chelsea is still pressed back inside their own half here by Queen's Park Rangers until Hill comes in with a rather unnecessary foul to give Chelsea the free kick.
Well, we didn't expect QPR to be overawed, and they certainly aren't overawed, buoyed by that penalty decision which they accepted. They're doing very well, I have to say, with just over a quarter of the game gone. They're holding Chelsea. Chelsea have had a couple of wild shots, one by Drogba, one by Lampard, but so far no major scares for the home team.
QPR 1, AVB 0, the initial game, and now it's Luiz of Chelsea. The man who's conceded the penalty can be very impetuous, as we've said, as Bosingwa now goes forward for Chelsea. Lays the ball onto Mata, who's gone into the centre for the first time. Mata's ball forward towards Lampard. Just doesn't quite run for him. Out comes Kelly in the yellow jumper to make the save, and just waits for everyone to get back in position again. Queen's Park Rangers still looking for their first Premier League win at home at Loftus Road. They got themselves into a good position in the last game here against Blackburn, and then conceded a rather naive goal from a set piece. So there's a warning for them again today as Helgeson heads the ball on. This time Tarat won't get that one, and Czech now will take a goal kick for Chelsea. We've played 27.5 minutes and Rangers lead Chelsea 1-0 here.
Yeah, we just saw a sublime chip by Mata over the back of the last Rangers defender. Lampard tried to get onto it. We've seen Silva do it, we've seen Mata do it. It's like a little wedge. The foot comes right under the ball and they lift it from a short distance high over, and it drops deadish over the back line of the last defender, and it creates a chance. It's a clever little ball, and we just saw Mata do it very, very well.
Could turn out to be an even better day for Manchester City if Queen's Park Rangers can beat Chelsea here. But Sturridge now finds Bosingwa down the Chelsea right, whip ball in too near the goalkeeper. Kenny falls on that very easily inside the 6-yard area. Thought about the throw to Barton, but wasn't sure he could reach him, and so Kenny holds on, comes to the edge of his area and prepares to relaunch QPR. Fantastic noise. Nigel saying earlier, it's very much like an FA Cup scene here. Of course, as Barton takes possession and QPR build. Not so very long ago, QPR were the dominant team in London. I can remember in the 70s when Dave Sexton was the manager here. Queen's Park Rangers finishing second, just a point behind Liverpool, and Chelsea in those days were in the old second division midway. And that was a QPR set up with lots of Chelsea links as well, with people like David Webb, John Hollins. Free kick to Queen's Park Rangers, leading 1-0, headed away by Drogba, who's come back to help his defenders. Queen's Park Rangers pick up the possession once more with Ferdinand back inside his own half. Has a good long look, Barton's calling for it. Layoff from Tarat to Derry inside the centre circle. Good play from Queen's Park Rangers, and now Ferdinand lifts it forward, a little innocuously. Bosingwa's header. Chelsea will try and counter-attack. Lampard played it early towards Drogba. It was well read though by Ferdinand, back to his goalkeeper.
A good pressing by QPR in the centre of the field, and then clever reading of the game by Ferdinand as Morales chipped that ball forward towards Drogba.
Actually, talking about the 70s, somebody from the 70s, if you'll just allow me to indulge myself here, is here. I notice away to our left. The guitarist with the Clash, Mick Jones, who I think is a QPR fan, is sitting just in front of us. And, of course, his band now is Big Audio Dynamite, not the Clash. But he's famous for that. And this is a clash between QPR and Chelsea, which I'm sure he's savouring. And Rangers lead 1-0, and they take a free kick quickly, and it's Joey Barton. Wrong selection there, went down the left-hand side. Helgeson wasn't there. Bosingwa will still have to clear this. Helgeson's going to make him play it. He turns well with pace, Bosingwa. He's doing well for Villas-Boas, Bosingwa, and now he lifts the ball from right to left. It doesn't reach Ashley Cole. It's cut out by Barton. Barton trying to get this down on the ground. Barton plays it neatly into Derry, just inside the Chelsea half. Derry and Barton, very accomplished, very experienced players at the moment, taking charge of this game. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0, half an hour gone, a third of the game gone. On the day when City beat United 6-1. In comes the challenge from Bosingwa, referee happy. Chelsea launch it towards Little Matter, but goalkeeper Kenny's there once more, and Kenny really, David, after half an hour, yet to be tested.
Yet to be tested. Lovely couple of touches there from Barton on this right. Some real subtlety there as he played the ball with the outside of his right foot infield. Never hurried Barton. He's got the composure that QPR need. When you get a promotion, you need one or two players who have been there and seen it, and they kind of don't panic when the ball comes to them, and Barton is one of those players. He's doing a good job here.
In the game's still active, but Wright Phillips tries a shot from the edge of the area. I was going to tell you that Spurs are leading 2-1 at Blackburn with 2 goals from Van der Vaart, and Celtic 1, Aberdeen 1 in Scotland. Rangers earlier winning 2-0 away from home, and it's a big day for Wright Phillips, of course. Chelsea paid £21 million to take him to Stamford Bridge from Manchester City. He's going to be 30 in a couple of days' time, and relishing the new role he has now on this left-hand side today for Queen's Park Rangers. As Czech clears, Drogba heads the ball on, doesn't find anyone. It's back inside the centre circle, collected by Mikel, and now Mikel's on the ball once more. Mikel finding Morales. No Ramirez in the Chelsea lineup today, he's injured. Morales across the field to Bosingwa. It's a bit slow from Chelsea. Rangers have got everybody back inside their own half. Basingwa almost lost that. It's back on the halfway line now with Louise. Louise, the man adjudged to have fouled Helgeson in the area for the penalty, and now Rangers looking for Tarap to get moving over the halfway line, looking for the pace of Wright Phillips. Basingwa struggling here against Wright Phillips, and it's going to be another red card. Basingwa fouling Wright Phillips, the last defender in the penalty area. Another red card today. Of course, earlier today, the Manchester derby, we saw a player dismissed, and here now Basingwa, who's having such a good time lately for Chelsea, is sent off by Chris Foy. They are a man down, they are a goal down. They have to play for 2/3 of this game with only 10 men, and Rangers will have a free kick.
It was a really speedy chase there. Wright Phillips got on the inside of Basingwa as he raced through. The ball was played through cleverly. At the first moment when it was played, Basingwa had the advantage. Wright Phillips came on his inside. It was a clever ball played through. I think it was Tarrant that played the ball. Basingwa was pushing towards Wright Phillips away from the ball. It was like obstruction. He kind of pushed against him, shouldered him off the ball as he went on the run.
Well, Chris Foy apparently sent off Alex in the other Chelsea game he did this season, and that of course means that Basingwa will be out of at least the Arsenal game next weekend. Straight red card, and so we have a free kick here, and Adel Tarap takes it quickly, and it's check almost dropped that, and well, it was going to be hard for Chelsea to get back into this game, even harder now. Now what are they? They've got Morales playing at right back just for the moment. Referee wants check to make the clearance again. We'll go to Celtic and Roddy Forsyth.
And Celtic have taken the lead again in this game. It was pretty desperate stuff. Free kick came high in. The much maligned Mastorovic headed it down, took a ricochet from an Aberdeen boot. Mulgrew lashed it into the net, and Celtic suddenly have a new lease of life. 2-1 against Aberdeen.
Thanks, Roddy. Could be back to 6 points again in the lead, with Rangers winning earlier. Now a long ball searching out Sturridge over on the far side. Andre Villas-Boas will maybe have to make a change here. John Terry speaking to the referee. Out comes Petacek as well. Is something maybe been thrown at Cech?
I can only assume that the crowd behind that goal are Chelsea supporters, so I wouldn't have thought there was anything been thrown at Petacek, but they've certainly brought the attention of Mr. Foy to something. It's Chelsea that's got to keep the discipline. QPR now really in the driving seat. If they can take this lead to half-time, then I'm quite sure Neil Warnock can put enough sense into the team to possibly hold. It is not easy for 10 men. They have to play with something extra. Morales has gone to the right, Louise centre with Terry, Ashley Cole at left back, and in the centre just two players at the moment, which I think is very sensible, just Mikel and Lampard, and they'll try and keep the three up front, Mata with Sturridge and Drogba, but of course the two wide players there will have to work terribly hard.
Mikel's been swept aside there by Barton and Tarap. He lost possession on the edge of the area, but Chelsea got enough players back to tidy up. But here come Queen's Park Rangers again. They're sensing victory here. They're leading 1-0. They're playing 10 men of Chelsea as Barton whips the ball in and Luis heads the ball out of the penalty area. Ivanovic apparently has been prepared to come into the game for Chelsea. He of course can play at right back. At the moment Morales is playing there, so we'll have to sacrifice somebody for Chelsea. And here comes the change now. Sturridge I think will be the player to come off. Ivanovic, to make it a proper back four, is coming on. So back to Blackburn and Conor McNamara.
Still Blackburn 1, Tottenham 2. We've got 11 minutes to play. Both Spurs goals from Van der Vaart. Formica briefly at the game at 1-1. Blackburn bottom of the table but trying to fight their way out of it. Yakubu's come on as a sub and he's twice come close, but it's still Blackburn 1, Tottenham 2.
Thank you, Conor. So Ivanovic on, Sturridge sacrificed, and here come QPR, knocking the ball this time to John Terry, who clears and almost slips in the process. Hall gets in ahead of Drogba, who's had absolutely nothing yet to really feed off here. Drogba. Cole, Ashley Cole, just trying to trick his way past Barton. Long ball forward, it should be headed away by Hill for Rangers. 1-0 they lead, and on a day when the Bears from Chicago are in London, it's an absolute bear pit here as well at Loftus Road. It's a fantastic atmosphere as we look down from the stand here. People almost on the pitch. It's just so narrow down here, and Barton for Queen's Park Rangers, showing his experience, tidies up and gives the ball back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, QPR are playing it like a cup tie, there's no question. trying to be very quick into the challenge, tackle at every opportunity, and really make the most now of this extra man. It's going to be very difficult for Chelsea, no matter how talented their players may be.
Mata now, early ball into the area, and what's happening down there as well is that QPR, they're hurrying Chelsea into things all the time. There's absolutely no time for Chelsea to settle down, is there here, David?
No, forcing mistakes at every opportunity.
Throw to Chelsea far side, trailing 1-0, down to 10 men. The single straight red card from Chris Foy for bringing down Sean Wright-Phillips. On a day when City won the derby in Manchester 6-1, Chelsea trying little 1-2s, Luiz is trying to go forward, too many defenders around him though, and Ferdinand clears for Queen's Park Rangers. Unhappy day for Rio today, Ferdinand, but so far so good for Anton Ferdinand and Queen's Park Rangers. Wright-Phillips gives the ball away. Neil Warnock will not want Rangers to relent at any point here. Focus, concentration all the way as they seek their first home win of the season here at Loftus Road. Still plenty of time for Chelsea to get back in the game despite their numerical disadvantage. Moreles, that's very weak from him in midfield. Gives the ball away cheaply. Lampard helps him out. And now Mikel trying to turn against Tarap. Very tight, and in comes a challenge from Derry, which was too heavy on Moreles. This time Rangers just overdoing it as they try and knock Chelsea out of their stride. Quickly taken free kick, and Ashley Cole's deep inside the Queen's Park Rangers half near side. Gives the ball back to Mata. Drogba waits, Mata holds, and then Mata sends it into the unmarked Moreles. Moreles can shoot, and he has shot, but it's 5 yards wide of the target.
He struck it cleanly enough. It was a square ball, came to him from the left-hand side. Rangers went to close him quickly, and he took it slightly hurriedly.
Well, it's amazing to think, isn't it, that a week or two ago Queen's Park Rangers lost 6-0 at Fulham, and Fulham were beaten 3-1 at home by Everton today. That was the day when Tarap left the game early on the bus, but he's been forgiven by his manager, and he's out there playing a big role alongside Helgeson. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0 on 5 Live. Goal kick for Rangers, which Helgeson flicks on. And now it's Joey Barton looking to release Wright-Phillips. Ivanovic has to be careful. Out comes Cech almost to the edge of his area to make an important interception.
Wright-Phillips at every opportunity when the ball is central, coming off his line, making those runs through a kind of inside leftish channel, and it causes a problem. Basinga's already had that problem. Now Ivanovic playing at right back could have that problem as play develops.
Chelsea trying to regroup and trying to get back here, but there's a huge gap between the midfield and Didier Drogba now. Now that Sturridge has had to go off because of the sending off, Drogba at the moment an isolated figure in the Chelsea attack. Torres, remember, completes his suspension today, so he'll be back against Arsenal, I assume, next weekend, Saturday lunchtime. You'll hear that, as well as the Everton-Manchester United game, which takes on a whole new meaning now. And now it's Ashley Cole of Chelsea. 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. Cole back to Terry, just inside the Chelsea half. Chelsea playing from right to left and just trying to get a foothold here, just trying to pass and move their way back into it. Moreles, very ambitious ball with the outside of the foot, easily headed away by Hall.
The problem they've got Chelsea up the front is Drogba is, as you say, Mike, isolated. Mata is floating around. And I just feel that Sturridge might have been a better option to leave on the field, because Sturridge can beat people, he can open things up. Sometimes he can beat two people, at a time and draw cover and therefore make chances for Drogba. At the moment, I'm not sure who's going to make the dribble to take a player out to give Drogba the opportunity. Only Mata, maybe.
Here he goes, Drogba, riding a few challenges, but then, and then following straight through inside the centre circle and gets a straight red card for it as well. He followed through on Tarap. Didier Drogba lunging inside the centre circle, and the day gets even worse for Chelsea here in the London derby. They've already lost Basinga straight red, now Drogba straight red, down to 9 men. John Terry's protesting, but it will make no difference to Chris Foy. Drogba's off, and Chelsea trail 1-0 with 9 men.
Well, he lost control of it, and it was frustration. He jumped in at Tarap, there's no doubt about that. I was just saying that Drogba was isolated. He's certainly isolated now. He'll have no friends for that, because now 9 men, no chance at all, Chelsea, I wouldn't think. It was rather silly. It wasn't the highest of challenges, but the studs were showing, and Tarap, of course, went up in the air, as players do when they have that confrontation, and it looked far worse, I feel, than it was. But I do believe it was, once again, that was a correct decision by Foy. He went in with his feet up.
The Rangers fans in the main stand here wave goodbye to Didier Drogba. Well, we got the goal after 8 minutes. It was going to be difficult for Chelsea. Getting Basing was sent off, made it hard enough for them. Now Sturridge is gone, of course. He was sacrificed because Ivanovic came on. So who knows who's going to play up front now for Chelsea?
Well, A, it spoils the game completely. Secondly, now for Chelsea to get back in the game with 9 men, almost impossible. They just have to defend solidly, not concede another, because that would be the end of their hopes today, and just hope that they get a set piece about 30 yards from goal or win a couple of corners and maximise that. That's the only way I can see them scoring a goal. It's going to be very, very difficult for them.
Do they consider maybe bringing Anelka on now, David, and having to sacrifice another midfield player, so they've at least got a recognised target man, striker?
This is the time when the manager has so many thoughts going on in his head. It's topsy-turvy at the moment, and he just has to wait until half-time. Maybe, at the moment, Mata's going to be the lone forward by the looks of it, the most diminutive forward on the field. It's just going to be so difficult. And if they try and build the game short and they have the extra man, they've got a great chance of closing down, intercepting and then getting on the attack. If they play it long, it'll come straight back. It's very hard to work the ball through the field when you're 2 men short.
One thing's for sure, on 5 Live, QPR will never have a better chance of beating Chelsea. 9 men of Chelsea, long way to go in the game. Queen's Park Rangers are leading 1-0. John Terry's now trying to go forward. The ball runs to Mata. Mata slips. Lampard can't take it. And here come Rangers on the counter-attack. Forlan, he's got options left and right. Forlan sends the ball to the left-hand side. And there are players waiting in the penalty area. Doesn't come in, though, from the left-hand side from Helguson. Barton's going to win it back again. No, he's not, because he's adjudged to a foul. Well, what a day it's been. What a day. With Manchester City beating United 6-1. And, we were feeling, one or two of us, after that runaway away win, that we could get the similar story here. But, the game just confounds you all the time.
Yes, it does. So hard to predict football, the great unpredictability. More turvy than topsy.
And we still have a minute or so to go in the first half. Well, if you're joining us, I know you've probably been out today on a lovely sunny day. You've missed quite a bit of football news. Just dealing with this one here. Queen's Park Rangers led with a penalty after 8 minutes. Helguson. Since then, Chelsea have had 2 players sent off, Basingwa and Drogba. They'll miss them both for 3 matches, of course. They'll both be out of the Arsenal game certainly next weekend. Lampard now, we can see Neil Warnock down there trying to make it 12 men on the field for Queen's Park Rangers. We've 30 seconds of normal time to go, and the ball is back with Cech away to the right. And Neil Warnock can't be greedy, but he may feel now with this advantage that QPR should be even further in front. Throw into Rangers over on the far side, and much for Andre Villas-Boas to think about at half-time and try and sort out. Neil Warnock describing him as the best young manager in the world in the build-up to the game. Well, even the best young manager in the world could find it difficult to claw his way out of this one. 2 minutes of added time. Fitzhall of Queen's Park Rangers finding the former England player Luke Young. Nice and tidy from Rangers. Now Forlan, who's been quite influential in the first half, bends a left footer to the far side. Nicely brought down by Hill. And now Terrapt, clever ball in field. Rangers just keeping it, moving it around. And, of course, the longer the game goes with only 9 men, will Chelsea have the energy? Wright Phillips has just run offside, and Chelsea have a free kick.
Certainly going to be difficult for them.
Maybe at some point that they'll have to bring on Anelka to have a recognised front man, so they may have to take off maybe Morelos or somebody from midfield. They won't want to disturb the back 4, which is now Ivanovic, Luiz, Terry and Cole.
They could go man for man at the back and concede one player there. Might go 3v3 at the back and try and push a player into midfield. I believe that when you go down, a man or even 2 men, you need 2 up front. It looks as though
Mata's coming off, and that's another huge blow for Chelsea because he's been one of their main players this season. So Mata, like Sturridge, is sacrificed here. Almost on half-time. Nicolas Anelka will come into the game for Chelsea. We felt after the Manchester derby that this could be really after the Lord Mayor's show here, but what a story is developing here in West London. Queen's Park Rangers 1, 9 men of Chelsea 0. Free kick to Chelsea, headed on by Ivanovic. Anelka, who's just come on for Mata, won't get that one. And Barton clears into the Chelsea half. Terry almost lost that there to Helguson, but he switches away well from the Icelander, and it's now Mikel of Chelsea. Mikel to Luiz. We are about 15 seconds away from half-time here. Luiz showing a burst of pace as he goes into the Rangers half, but never really threatened to cut through, and he hasn't won himself a throw-in either.
My worry about Luiz is he'll start charging forward from the back and leaving even more spaces for QPR to break and counter.
Time is up, and I wonder whether John Terry and the Chelsea players will want a word with Chris Foy at half-time, the referee. That usually the norm in these occasions, but they're not going to change his mind now. The damage has been done as far as Chelsea are concerned. Basingwa and Drogba, reds, penalty for Queen's Park Rangers, and there was no red card there, by the way. Lewis was adjudged to have tumbled over Helgeson. So half-time score here is 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers, and I'm not quite sure how Chelsea are going to get out of this. David Pleat.
Well, it has been quite a dramatic half, there's no question about that. Chelsea caught up in a real cup-tie atmosphere even before the sending off. To be fair, there was no real rhythm about the Chelsea game. They seemed not at odds with each other, but there was no rhythm in their passing. QPR were determined, they closed very quickly, they forced errors, and indeed it was when Wright Phillips went through after the penalty that Basingwa was sent off, which has changed the whole nature of this game. Helgeson pushed the penalty into the net quite comfortably, and of course since then now the referee is going to be the major player in this game. He's had to send two players off. I think he's had little problems in doing that, but of course that's going to be all the controversy regarding this first half.
Okay, thank you, David. If it stays like this, then Manchester City will be 5 points clear of Manchester United and 6 points clear of Chelsea. The half-time score here in West London, QPR 1, Chelsea 0.
Thank you very much, David. I just got one question for you. Earlier in the programme we were talking about Manchester United being down to 10 men. You gave the example of how Wimbledon always used to leave two guys up front. How do you play with 9 men?
It's even more difficult, but I just think that if you really believe you've got a chance of winning the game, you have to change your whole style of play. You have to play it longer, you have to bypass the midfield, but you need power and strength up front. They haven't got it now. Drogba's off the field, they've got Anelka, they can do little else now, and it's completely against Chelsea's nature to hit direct forward balls. They're going to have to work the ball. I think they've got little chance. I think it'll be quite a dramatic day for Chelsea if they can wrest a point from this game.
It's been an amazing day, and don't forget Match of the Day 2 tonight on BBC 2 at 10 o'clock. Right, let's go to Blackburn against Tottenham. Tottenham were ahead thanks to 2 Dutch goals. Conor McNamara.
Yes, still Blackburn 1, Tottenham 2, both from Rafael van der Vaart for Spurs. We're in stoppage time now. Yakubu on as a substitute has missed a sitter in the closing stages. He's definitely had an impact since coming on, though. Here's a corner from the left-hand side for Pedersen, and Samba heads it actually out of the penalty area. Blackburn have created chances today. They've not had much luck, combined with a top performance from a former Rover in Brad Friedel in the Tottenham goal. If Spurs do hold on and win this, they'll move ahead of Liverpool into 5th. It's Blackburn 1, Tottenham 2.
Earlier today, Rangers won at Hearts by 2-0. How are Celtic replying? They're playing Aberdeen. Roddy Forsyth.
Well, Celtic's 3 league defeats this season have all followed Europa League ties, and there was a spell in this match when they looked as though they might easily have been held to a draw by Aberdeen. That would have put Celtic 11 points behind Rangers, and all of those points dropped after Europe. That was after they'd taken a first half lead through Ki Sung-young, but been pegged back by the Aberdeen fullback Ryan Jack, who was allowed enormous latitude to cut into the penalty area and strike the equaliser. Jack was booked for his celebrations. He was subsequently sent off after fouling Hooper. Between times, Celtic had a free kick headed down by Mastorovic towards Mulgrew converting. That's the difference between the sides. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 1.
In the Championship, 3 o'clock kick-off at Ashton Gate. Struggling Bristol City against Birmingham. Steve May.
Well, we've got 3 minutes left here. In Bristol City 0, Birmingham 1. Chris Hughton made 7 changes to the side that won in Bruges on Thursday night, but it looks as if he's going to get the same result here this afternoon. Chris Burke scored the only goal 9 minutes before the break, but the woodwork has been hit 3 times, twice from Bristol City's Elliott in the first half and Campbell Rice in the second, and once from Birmingham's Curtis Davis right at the start. Zigic really should have made it 2 a few minutes ago, but headed it straight to David James in the Bristol City goal, who I understand is celebrating his 41st birthday today. But we're looking now at Birmingham's 5th consecutive victory, but for Bristol City, their worst start for 78 years appears to be going on. Bristol City 0, Birmingham 1. We've got about 2 minutes left here.
Elsewhere today, amazing day. Arsenal 3, Stoke 1, 2 goals from the substitute Robin van Persie again. Fulham 1, Everton 3, Man United 1, Manchester City 6. And it's just finished at Ewood Park. Blackburn 1, Tottenham 2. So Tottenham are in 5th place with 16 points. Newcastle 4th with 19. If Chelsea lose, they'll be on 19. Man United 20. Manchester City 25. And remember, Arsenal are closing as well. 13 points now. They're in 7th place. Let's go to Mumbai and see how India are getting on. They're chasing 221 to beat England. Alistair Bruce Ball.
Well, it's not going to be long until they get there. England are about to receive another humiliating defeat on this short trip to India. India are 206 for 4. They need just 17 runs to win this game. And I think we can take 6 off that total because MS Dhoni has just crashed Tim Bresnan down the ground. So 11 runs to win this game. They've got a full 12 overs left to do it. England thought they were in there with a chance when they had them at 46 for 3. But then Suresh Raina and Virat Kohli put on 133 for the 4th wicket. Raina particularly brutal on the England bowling before he was bowled by Stephen Finn for 80. But Virat Kohli is still there with the skipper MS Dhoni. And England are about to go 4-0 down after 4 matches. And only one of them has been close. Again today, England are going to be well and truly thrashed, and it's going to end very, very soon. 9 runs needed from 71 balls for India to win.
I suspect that 6:06 will be as lively as it's ever been with Alan Green. It follows 5 Live Sport at 6 o'clock. The lines will open shortly at 5, so in 6 minutes' time. 0500 909 693 is the number to call. Already the baiting has started on Twitter. This is from @2twips, the Man United fans. Your 19 flags and scarves, turn them upside down and they will make ideal Christmas presents for City fans. Have a think about that one. Don't forget, 10 o'clock, BBC 2, Match of the Day 2, 19 goals so far. 3 sendings off. What more can you want for a Sunday? We'll hear from Sir Alex Ferguson on Manchester United's record derby defeat, his worst ever, he says, after the BBC News on 5 Live with Claire McDonnell.
Online at bbc.co.uk/5live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
In the last few minutes, the new authorities in Libya have formally declared the liberation of the country. The head of the National Transitional Council, Mustafa Abdel Jalil, bowed down to thank God for their victory before a massive celebratory crowd in Benghazi. He urged forgiveness and reconciliation and prayed for those who had died during the uprising. Hundreds of people are feared to have died in a huge earthquake in southeastern Turkey. A government minister has spoken of about 40 buildings collapsing in and around the city of Van. A meeting of European leaders in Brussels has broken up, with David Cameron saying more progress needs to be made to secure the future of the euro currency. Mr Cameron said that he had secured a commitment to safeguard the interests of countries that want to stay outside the euro, including the UK. Tunisians have been queuing up to vote in the first free elections in the Middle East since the Arab Spring began in the country just under a year ago. An election official says the turnout has exceeded all expectations. And Chicago police have confirmed that 130 protesters were arrested earlier this morning whilst taking part in a rally. The group, which calls itself Occupy Chicago, had gathered for another weekend to protest against what they say is social inequality and corporate greed. Travel news now. Let's start in Derbyshire on the M1 northbound. There's delays there due to an earlier accident between junction 29A, that's the turn-off for Bolsover, and junction 30, the turn-off for Sheffield and Worksop. All lanes have reopened, but still quite slow there. A21 Hastings Road at Lock's Bottom in Greater London, closed in both directions due to emergency repairs and a burst water main between the Croydon Road and Oakley Road, so delays there. Good news though on the M1 southbound in Nottinghamshire, delays have cleared, all lanes reopened following that earlier accident between junction 27 for Hucknall and 26 for Nottingham and Eastwood. And M6 northbound in Lancashire, traffic returned to normal there as well. Earlier accident there between junction 32, the Broughton interchange, and junction 33, turn off for Galgate. Claire McDonnell, 5 Live Travel.
On BBC One, Sir David Attenborough takes us to a world beyond imagination to uncover the magical lands of the polar regions.
These are places that feed our imaginations, places that seem to be borrowed from fairy tales, from ice caps that hold nearly 80% of our planet's fresh water, to frozen forests that encircle the entire globe. This is our planet's last true wilderness.
Frozen Planet, Wednesday night at 9 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
It's been an amazing day in the Barclays Premier League. 2 matches in the Scottish Premier League today as well. Rangers won 2-0 at Hearts. Celtic have beaten Aberdeen by 2-1. So top of the table, Rangers played 12, 32 points. Motherwell played 12, 23 points. Celtic played 11, 22 points. A late goal at Ashton Gate. Bristol City were 1-0 down against Birmingham. Did they get an equaliser, Steve May?
No, it finished Bristol City 0, Birmingham City 2. Chris Burke got his second goal of the match with effectively the last kick of the game. He was put clean through. Bristol City thought he was offside. He only had James to beat, put the ball away, and there was a major face-to-face between the Bristol City captain Liam Fontaine and the linesman and referee after that. But nevertheless, it's Birmingham's 5th consecutive victory. Bristol City 0, Birmingham 2.
Don't forget, the line's open, as I say, for 606 in 2 minutes, 0500 909 693. If you're a Blackburn fan, you've lost again today, you may be one of the protesters who are hanging around asking for the head of Steve Keane. Conor McNamara saw Tottenham win 2-1 today. What's the scene, Conor?
Yes, Ian, as you can probably hear in the background, they're playing loud music over the tannoy. Now, they had turned the music off, but such was the volume of the chants of Keane out that some club officials decided to try and drown that out by playing music, which of course is only making the fans scream even louder. So it's a noisy atmosphere at Ewood Park several minutes after the game ends, and there's several hundred fans who've remained behind the goal, predominantly way to our left hand side. There were some fans to the right who I think have been ushered towards the exits by stewards, but I mean, last time I counted about 16, 17 different homemade banners, things like taxi for Keane, loads of Keane out. Does this sound like a minority, question mark? And I think that's because a lot of the response from the club is that it's only a minority of fans who want the manager out, but the Blackburn faithful who are remaining back behind this, another defeat with their club at the foot of the table, try to say this isn't just a minority. One of them, actually a yellow banner I can read, says 1% for, 99% against, wake up Venky's. Another says time is up, and one says Keane is sending us down. They're not happy. Funny enough, Ian, you know, they gave this a good go. Blackburn did not play well today, not play badly today, but such is the way of the world. When you're bottom of the table, nothing goes for you, and they've lost another game.
Yeah, they're at the bottom with 5 points. Wigan have got 5 points, 1 goal difference better, and Bolton have 6 points. Fulham have 7 points after their defeat at home today. But the major story has to be what on earth happened at Old Trafford in the battle of the Premier League's top 2 teams. It was City who came out resoundingly on top. They won by 6-1. Mario Balotelli scored twice, so did Edin Dzeko, while David Silva and Sergio Aguero were also on the score sheet. Darren Fletcher scored for United, who were reduced to 10 men at the beginning of the second half after Johnny Evans was sent off. Here now, the reaction of Sir Alex Ferguson.
It was a horrible defeat, but really mainly suicidal, to be honest with you. At 10 men we kept attacking with full-backs right up as wingers almost, and left ourselves at the back 2v3 times. It was crazy football, and ends up in embarrassment.
Was it a case of getting the 1 goal back almost did you a disservice because you overchased it?
I think even at 1-0 we were chasing. We were actually still playing very good football that time. You can't believe the scoreline if you look at the first 30 minutes of the game. We absolutely dominated it. Played really good football, just needed a break to get that opening goal, and that would have made a difference. But going down at 1-0, it was a bit unfair, but in the sense of the ability of both teams, I felt it was retrievable. That was any problem for me, that. But the sending off was a killer.
Yeah, and the timing of it as well. Was that a factor?
After half-time, yes. It's a long way after that with 10 men.
Was it a factor in not switching on again after the break, the way Johnny Evans got caught?
It was a bad header out of defence. It was straight to their player. I always believe you should never bring a player down the outside the box. Let him go through, because you still got him in the pitch. But he's young, and it was having sort of an instinctive reaction to stop Balotelli. In fact, he didn't even actually control the ball, you know. So you should have let him go through, I think, and let's see what we can do.
What's the most upsetting part of today? Is it the defeat, the manner of it, or who it was to?
It's a defeat, and it's a bad defeat, and that doesn't matter which way you describe as a terrible defeat for us.
And how do you recover from this? Is there a set formula, a plan of action, or is it just see what happens?
The impact will come from the embarrassment of the defeat. There's a lot of boys in the dressing room today will be feeling that, and we'll expect an impact. There'll be without doubt, there'll be a response to that.
Ferguson with Guy Mowbray. They play Aldershot next, and then, of course, they're back in Premier League action next week against Arsenal. Well, John Murray is still at Old Trafford. John, what else has Sir Alex had to say?
Yeah, it's Everton next.
I'm sorry,
game,
yes.
Ian, at Goodison
You're right,
Park, which is a 5 Live commentary match actually from midday next Saturday. So I think there's going to certainly be attention focused on that game. The other thing that he said was that as far as he is aware, Alex Ferguson says he's never lost a game 6-1 in his life as a manager or even as a player. And just another couple of statistical lines on that. Believe it or not, it is not the first time Manchester United have lost 6-1 at home to Manchester City. That happened in January 1926, but it is the first time they've conceded 6 at home in the league since 1930.
Unbelievable. Thank you very much indeed. John Murray at Old Trafford today on what has been an historic day. And it's pretty lively at Loftus Road too, where Queen's Park Rangers lead Chelsea by 1-0, and Chelsea are down to 9 men. Here's David Pleat miking him, and first Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Ian. Just underway in the second half. Queen's Park Rangers have not beaten Chelsea for 16 years, and they will never, ever have a better opportunity than this. As you say, Chelsea imploded just before half-time. Basingwa and Drogba both sent off following the early penalty from Haidar Helguson, so they are down to 9 men, and the front 3 who started for Chelsea, Mata, Drogba and Sturridge, are now all absent. Drogba, of course, sent off, and Mata and Sturridge have been sacrificed in the subsequent reorganisations following the red cards for Basingwa and Drogba. And Nelka is now on as Chelsea's lone, very, very lone striker. Their team is checking goal. The back 4 now: Ivanovic, Terry, Luiz and Cole. 3 in midfield: Lampard, Morelos and Mikel, with Anelka as their only recognised forward player on the pitch. As Queen's Park Rangers, in their blue and white hoops, bring it forward down this near side. It's Forlan, the Argentinian, back towards Hill. And the second goal now for Queen's Park Rangers would surely earn them the victory, but they give the ball away. And here's Anelka charging forward now for Chelsea. Needs support, has Morelos to the right and Lampard to the left. Morelos with the cross, Lampard with a header, oh, it's just wide. And that could have been the equalising goal for the 9 men, and Lampard gestures towards the fans. It took a deflection and went behind for a corner, and Chelsea there so close to the equaliser.
Excellent ball by Morelos. Looked as though Lampard was going to score, but it just got a deflection.
Lampard with the corner, high into the penalty area, nodded away by the goal scorer Helguson. Luiz charges across towards this near side, but Sean Wright-Phillips beats him to it and runs the ball out of play. And remarkably, it's the 9 men who are dominating the early stages of the second half. Andres Villas-Boas sent them out a good 2 or 3 minutes early after half-time, maybe to sort themselves out on the pitch and have a few words amongst themselves. And at the moment, the more likely scorers of the next goal in this game look to be Chelsea. A long throw in from Ivanovic, high into the area, headed away by Derry at the near post. Sean Wright-Phillips turns away from the Serb, and eventually it's another throw into Chelsea. Here's Luiz on the edge of the penalty area. He's challenged by Helguson, and Queen's Park Rangers play the ball away. Helguson finding to Rapt down this near side, who can often be a liability, but he needs to be responsible now for Queen's Park Rangers. Helguson plays a long ball from left to right, wide to the far side in the general direction of Barton, and it's cut out by Ashley Cole. The Queen's Park Rangers team, Kenny in goal, Young, Ferdinand, Hall and Hill the back 4, Wright-Phillips, Forlan, Derry and Barton in midfield. Helguson the goal scorer alongside Tarapt, and Tarapt has already given the ball away once in the second half. He's an enigmatic talent, but Queen's Park Rangers need him switched on now as Morelos charges forward for Chelsea, finding Anelka wide to this near side of Ivanovic. A dangerous ball into the area, fisted away inside the 6-yard box by Kenny. And where has this come from Chelsea, David, please?
Well, he's organised this system so that up front on his own, Anelka, Morelos and Lampard either side of him having to work very hard, very narrow, and then Mikel, the one holding player. That's the midfield 3 that are supporting the front man and have kept their back 4, but they're going to tell the full-backs to raid at every opportunity. The one thing they must do, QPR particularly, is they must keep their discipline, because what could happen here, and I've seen it happen before, when a team goes down by 2 players, the other team, if there's 1 or 2 dramatic challenges or confrontations, it's easily to get another player sent off.
Anelka forward towards Lampard with a shot. It's deflected behind by Young for another corner. So this game far from over, but it's all over in Mumbai. Here's Alistair Bruce Ball.
Another embarrassing defeat for England. India winning by 6 wickets with almost 10 overs to spare. England didn't get anywhere near enough with the bat. 220 all out, and India's batsmen eventually crashed their bowling everywhere. India 4-0 up after 4 games. England totally outplayed again.
Morelos with the corner, high into the area, glanced away by Hill at the far post. Wright Phillips' clearance hits Louise, and now Barton gets there ahead of Terry, and Barton's away over the halfway line. It's 2 against 2 on the breakaway. Tarapt in support. Here is Tarapt on the edge of the area. He's fouled by McKell, and McKell this time is shown a yellow card, and Chelsea hearts were in mouths there once again as Chris Foy went for the pocket.
Well, if McKell was more central, Tarapt was clever. He just got his toe in front there. That could, if it would have been a little bit more central, possibly been a red card. Very good play by Joey Barton, I have to say, robbing John Terry when John Terry was well forward, forcing a situation that eventually came almost a 2v2. So QPR are going to be absolutely rampant on the counter-attack. There's no question about that. If Chelsea try and get the equaliser and really force their issue, then I'm going to tell you, QPR are going to have chances. Definitely have chances.
50 minutes played. Queen's Park Rangers lead the 9 men of Chelsea by 1-0. And whatever happens now, this game will be talked about for many years in West London. Forlan will take the free kick, curls it right-footed into the wall. It deflects across the area. Hat clear by Ashley Cole up to the halfway line. Ferdinand just lumps it back over the top as the sun begins to set here in West London, but Forlan heads it forward again. Here's Tarapt down this near side, away from the challenge of Morelos, but Morelos comes back a second time and wins it back. But here's Wright Phillips, the Queen's Park Rangers, scampering through. He goes down under the challenge of Morelos. Chris Foy says he got the ball, but now Derry does well to slide in and rob Lampard. Tarapt with a dangerous ball into the area. Helgerson now at the far post, picks up the ball in space. Back towards Forlan, and now square. Two Queen's Park Rangers player collide on the edge of the area. It was Young and Tarapt, when either of them would have surely made it 2-0. And now Chelsea with a free kick taken quickly by Louise, but it was almost like a rugby union player there.
Yeah, the game's got to be careful here.
And Derry and Lampard are squaring up to each other midway inside the Chelsea half, and Chris Foy has more work here.
There's a little bit of Mickey Mouse about this game at the moment, I have to say. It could become farcical. Terry's going in the book, Derry's going in the book. Getting the Terrys and the Derrys mixed up, but it is Derry, it is Sean Derry, the ageing but excellent leader of this QPR team as they stormed to promotion last season. He went in very tough on Lampard. Lampard is just illustrating to the referee exactly what happened. Derry went in fiercely. It's a yellow card. There will be some calm. Lampard's got yellow too.
So bookings there for Derry and Lampard. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service, wherever you are around the globe on this Sunday, to Loftus Road in West London. We played 52 minutes, and Chelsea, with 9 men, trail Queen's Park Rangers by 1-0. But this has been a sulphurous start to the second half. Chelsea close to an equaliser on a couple of occasions, and Andre Villas-Boas has transformed their system, and they look the more likely scorers as Morelos flicks it wide to this near side. It's Ivanovic now coming infield beyond Hill. Ivanovic goes on the outside, but Hill snakes out the telescopic leg and wins it back for Queen's Park Rangers, and Sean Wright Phillips now sways inside the challenge of Louise. Back again towards Forlan, and eventually all the way back towards Hill again. A long ball clipped over the top, and the flag's up for offside against Wright Phillips. David Pleat.
QPR just have to keep their cool, use the width, make Chelsea chase the ball, play from side to side. They don't have to play too many forward balls. They just work the ball from one side of the field to the other and really stretch these Chelsea legs. Chelsea are going to be very tired at the end of this game. There's no question about that.
But they have not taken this lying down, Chelsea, even with 9 men. I saw Liverpool have 2 red cards against Spurs recently, and they folded very quickly and lost by 4-0. But it's a very different story here so far. Ivanovic with a long throw into the penalty area. Queen's Park Rangers clear, and Forlan intelligently volleys it clear to the far side, and Barton Steaming forward on the overlap is Luke Young, but it's a low ball forward towards Helgeson on the edge of the penalty area with his back to goal. He plays it wide towards Young again. Barton's offering support. Barton just for a second there in behind Cole. A back heel towards Young, but his low ball into the area. It's headed away at the near post by John Obi Mikel. And now to wrap the lovely ball back into the area. Young with a shot across the face of goal and wide when he should have scored.
That was a lovely pass by the Moroccan. Beautiful weighted pass to Luke Young. Luke Young could have picked out colleagues on the edge of the box. He decided to drive the ball with his instep just past the far post, but it was intelligent run using the space inside Ashley Cole. I don't think it was Mikel who couldn't quite get across there. Beautiful pass.
54 minutes played. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0 here on BBC 5 Live and World Service. Elsewhere today in the Barclays Premier League, Manchester City won 6-1 at Manchester United. Johnny Evans sent off early in the second half, and City then were rampant. Elsewhere, Arsenal beating Stoke by 3-1. 2 goals for Robin van Persie, and injury time goals from Sahar and Rodwell gave Everton a 3-1 win at Fulham. And Spurs have just beaten Blackburn, who remain bottom, by 2-1. And in Scotland, wins for both Celtic and Rangers. So Ali McCoist's men remain 6 points clear at the top of the table. And 6:06 coming up on 5 Live at the end of this game. So much to talk about. 0500 909 693 is the number. 85058 on the text. The crowd here today, 18,050. 3,000 have made the short journey north from Chelsea, and everybody is enthralled by what we've seen so far. David Pleat.
Yes, indeed. There is an atmosphere, but there's also an atmosphere on the pitch, and it's so important now that QPR particularly, who are in the driving seat, keep their calm. They don't have to dive into tackles, they just have to get behind the ball, hold Chelsea up, make sure they don't concede any space.
Easier said than done though, as Morelos plays a ball square of the penalty area. John Terry heads it on towards Ashley Cole, back towards Terry again. Right foot shot from him. It was a swinger across the face of goal and a good 5 or 6 yards wide. And Chris Foy, the referee, has been a central character so far. He's refereed 2 Chelsea games so far this season, both West London derbies. He sent off Alex in their Carling Cup win against Fulham, and he sent off Basingwa and Drogba already today, having given Fulham an early penalty, given Queen's Park Rangers an early penalty scored by the former Fulham player Haidar Helgeson. So whatever happens in this game, I'm sure Andre Villas-Boas will have a few words on the performance of the referee, as it's nodded forward by Barton, almost into the path of Taarabt, headed away though by Louise. Cole on the far side for Chelsea, wearing all black, playing from left to right, and Mikel is robbed, and now Taarabt finds Wright Phillips, who cuts in field from the left-hand side. Louise with the challenge, but Wright Phillips almost picks his pocket again to win it back for Queen's Park Rangers, and Chelsea eventually will clear Mikel back towards Czech, and it's wide towards this near side. And do you feel, David Pleat, the Queen's Park Rangers don't quite know how to play this now?
All they've got to do is keep it simple and use the width. They could stretch the game. Wright Phillips could play really wide on the touchline. In the first half, he was coming off the touchline, making runs inside Basingwa and causing a problem. Now he needs just to stay wide. Get your boots wide. The wider you are, the harder it is for Chelsea to cover.
Anelka down the right-hand side, a dangerous ball into the area, nodded clear at the near post, into the ground by Young. And now Taarabt on this near side, plays a 1-2 with Wright Phillips back towards Taarabt again, as Ivanovic comes flying in with a challenge. It was late and high there from the Serb, and I don't think Chris Foy is keen to send off too many other Chelsea players here so far today. It's a yellow card for Ivanovic.
Well, he's got to book Ivanovic, there's no doubt about that. Ivanovic, the tall, strong, he absolutely towers over Wright Phillips, the same as all the Chelsea defenders, Louise and Terry. But he is an elusive character, is Wright Phillips. But that foul was on Taarabt, the number 7, the clever
man,
player.
Taarabt, isn't he?
Well, he's a marked man, but at the same time, he should be in this. If he can't enjoy this game now, with them having 2 players more, you know, he should be able to dominate that midfield area now, get on the ball. You know, so far today we haven't seen all his tricks. He doesn't need to do his tricks. All QPR need to do is keep it simple, use the width, play from one side to the other, make Chelsea chase. They should be able to keep possession against 9 men.
Sorry, David, 58 minutes play. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0. Just to clarify the top of the SPL, Rangers remain 9 points clear of Motherwell, and Celtic are a further point back on 22 points, wins for the Old Firm today. Rangers 2-0 at Hearts and Celtic 2-1 at home to Aberdeen. And John Terry is now flattened by Barton in the centre circle. And Queen's Park Rangers just have to keep their cool here, but at the moment there's been a rush of yellow cards early in the second half.
Yeah. Wonder what a normal game was like. Blackburn and Tottenham with no reds.
Well, no normal games, or very few normal games, it seems, in the Premier League today.
Problem with red cards, and they have to be given if they are deserved, but it completely disturbs the balance of a game, and it becomes an unequal contest, and it doesn't become a good spectacle, because all of a sudden players get aggressive with each other because they think they've been hard done by, and all of a sudden you get a very fractured game, and this is what is happening here now.
59 minutes played, and both Basingwa and Drogba will be out of the Carling Cup tie for Chelsea at Everton in midweek, but I think Basingwa will be available for the Arsenal game in the Premier League next Saturday, but Drogba should be suspended if he gets 3 games for violent conduct. But of course Didier Drogba, or rather Fernando Torres, will now be available. This is the final match of his 3-match domestic ban here today, as Terry plays it forward towards Louise, and now Ivanovic down this near side. The challenge coming in from Sean Wright-Phillips, but it breaks towards Morelos. And now Anelka, notionally the lone striker now for Chelsea, but the black shirts are pouring forward. Mikel wide towards Cole, support from Lampard, lovely ball back towards Cole, deep into the penalty area, and as he tried to square it for a tap in for Anelka, it was Joey Barton with the challenge. It's behind for a corner, taken quickly. Lampard now, square towards Morelos on the left corner of the box, a low ball in, hits Wright-Phillips, back towards Morelos again, a high ball swung in, way over the head of Anelka and Ivanovic, and behind for a goal kick with an hour played. Queen's Park Rangers still lead by a 1-0.
Wouldn't it be amazing if Chelsea managed to get an equaliser here? I wonder then if they'd go for the win. I'm sure they wouldn't. You'd just see them defend for their lives for the rest of the game. They're going all out to try and put some great energy into this first period of this second half to try and get this goal. I mean, and in doing so, they're going to get caught, I think, towards the end of the game on the break. There's no doubt about that. Tarat's going off. Hasn't done well enough, in my opinion. Made a couple of good passes. Well applauded by the crowd. The crowd still like him here, despite his various indiscretions. I'm not sure if he's going straight off or he's going into he's a very, very moody player. We know that.
He doesn't look happy, Tarat, does he? Makes his way off.
He's not a team player. He thinks he's more important than the team.
Straight down the tunnel onto the bus.
Yeah, he's a bad boy. Neil Warnock manages to cope with him. I think Warnock's cope with him tremendously well, but I don't think he'll cope with him for too much longer.
So Tommy Smith has come on to replace him, so Helgeson will be very much the man further up the field now, with Smith, who can be a wide player, tucked him alongside him as Chelsea try to build here. 16 minutes played in the second half on BBC 5 Live and World Service. Chelsea with 9 men trail Queen's Park Rangers here by a 1-0. As things stand, Manchester City, who won 6-1 at Manchester United today, will be 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. Helgeson on the far side for Queen's Park Rangers, plays it back in field, and now there's a chance for Barton to bring the ball forward. Wright-Phillips waits on the edge of the area, as does Smith. Helgeson delivers the ball in, headed away unchallenged by Mikel. Lampard, a short ball on the edge of the area to find Terry, and now it's hooked forward towards Anelka, but it's all very congested for Chelsea in that central area despite their lack of numbers, and John Terry is the furthest player forward as the back pass goes through towards Paddy Kenny.
Yeah, John Terry setting an example there, but of course he's way out of defence now as the ball's on the right-hand side.
And it's played forward by Barton, but Smith is flagged offside, and he collides with Louise on the edge of the area as the sliding challenge comes in from Petr Cech, the goalkeeper, and Chris Foy needs eyes in the back of his head here, the referee. There's plenty happening off the ball, a terrific atmosphere in the stands, and Queen's Park Rangers surely will win this game, playing 9 men, but there is a long way to go, and Chelsea are looking the more likely scorers as Ferdinand clips it forward again, and this time the flag stays down for Sean Wright-Phillips down the left, but there's no real support ahead of him inside the area, so he goes back towards Hill, and it's further back towards Ferdinand, who has to turn away from the challenge of Anelka, and the ball forward doesn't find Helgason. It's cut out by Louise, and Chelsea can break here, but Lampard's ball wide towards this near side was loose beyond both Louise and Anelka, and Queen's Park Rangers will clear the ball away. It's an intriguing game here.
They're doing marvellously well, Chelsea, with 9 men. I have to say, what they're doing occasionally is Louise and Terry are taking it in turns to go forward through the field and almost play as an auxiliary forward. It's a very interesting situation. I remember many years ago at Lilleshall, Malcolm Allison putting on a session which he'd seen at Charlton Athletic when he was a very young player before he played at West Ham. And he put on this session when there were 2 players short and how to play a system that might negate the fact that you're 2 players short. I really am impressed the way Chelsea have started this second half.
I wonder what Malcolm Allison would have made of events at Old Trafford today. As the high ball into the area from Morelos is headed away by Helgason. 2 Queen's Park Rangers players collide on the edge of the box. It dribbles away to this near side where Morelos gets there ahead of Wright Phillips. We have difficulty seeing the touchline down this near side, such as the steepness of the stands. A high ball swung into the area. Terry challenges with Young, but the ball breaks to Queen's Park Rangers. On the far side, it's Barton. Smith makes the run down the centre. Wright Phillips further wide to this near side. Lovely ball from Barton. It's controlled by Wright Phillips on the thigh, but he can't maintain possession as he runs into the area, and Mikel will clear the ball away for Chelsea, who are still very much in this game, trailing by a goal to nil, with 9 men, if you've just joined us on 5 Live and BBC World Service, following the early penalty scored by Helgason for Queen's Park Rangers in the final 12 minutes of the first half. Basingwa and then Drogba were both shown straight red cards by the referee Chris Foy for Chelsea. As Barton plays it forward, and the flag stays down for Luke Young. Luke Young deep into the penalty area, across the face of goal, and it's cut out by Cech, with Helgason waiting for a tap-in.
And there's 4 players out of position. What an opportunity there. Young completely free, storming into the 6-yard box, wasn't able to direct the ball away from Peter Cech.
Lampard now on the halfway line for Chelsea. His 500th Premier League appearance will be one he'll be keen to forget if it stays like this. Louise hurdles the challenge of Forlan up towards the edge of the area, but he can't go beyond the stiffer barrier of Sean Derry, and now it could be a breakaway for Queen's Park Rangers, but there's no real energy from Sean Wright Phillips over the halfway line. Smith back towards Wright Phillips again, who was possibly held back there by Louise, and now Wright Phillips plays an excellent ball wide to the far side, the right. Barton does well to keep the ball in play with his head, swings a high ball to the far post. Smith and Helgason the target, not that infilled by Helgason. Smith's shot on the turn is blocked by Terry, and it's gathered by Cech.
It's the ebb and flow of a game you'd normally expect in the last 5 minutes of a game when everyone's thrown caution to the wind. It's almost crazy what we're seeing down there. It's just helter-skelter. It's some kind of a circus. I just hope no one else gets sent off.
Well, the whole of the Premier League day has been a circus in parts today. Manchester City scoring 6 at Manchester United, wins as well for Arsenal, Everton and Spurs, so Blackburn remain bottom of the table, and Chelsea here are missing a real opportunity to put pressure on the leaders as Mikel finds Anelka, turns inside, but his shot is blocked on the edge of the area. Now Morelos wide towards Cole on the overlap. Lampard goes down inside the area looking for a penalty, and he can't believe it as Chris Foy says no. Fitzhall maybe pulled back Lampard inside the area there, 6 yards out, but Chris Foy unmoved.
Well, now Mr. Foy will not get the Christmas card from Chelsea. He will not get one.
He might get a red one. Helgason now, is he fouled by Louise midway inside the Chelsea half, and now Terry squares up towards Tommy Smith as both fight for the ball off the ball, and it's all getting a bit fractious here. We have both Louise and Helgason down.
The brand is going around the world, Nigel, the Premiership brand, and many countries are watching this game, and I'm not sure if we've got the best advert for it at the moment. There's a lot of antagonism amongst the crowd. There's a lot of overexcitement of the players, and we need a bit of control and restraint. Tommy Smith having a bit of a go. Well, Louise definitely fouled. He could become a liability for Chelsea if he's not careful. He's a fine player, but he's got some awful disciplinary traits.
Well, we've gone beyond the midpoint of the second half. A huge story developing here on a day of huge stories. Queen's Park Rangers lead the 9 men of Chelsea by a goal to nil. Here's Mike Ingham.
Well, David Pleat talking about the brand going around the world, and if ever there was a game to illustrate why people in Kuala Lumpur tune in to watch two teams play, then this is it. Always takes two to tango, and QPR. But it's also underlining why. I mean, there should never ever be any thoughts of promotion and relegation being scrapped either. A weekend when Norwich have famously held Liverpool at Anfield, and here QPR on the verge of beating Chelsea. 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers, as now Cech takes possession in the Chelsea goal away to our left. Finds Morelos, and if Chelsea get out of this with something, I think I know what you're going to write about tomorrow in The Guardian, David. How to play with 9 men.
Well, I have to say, I think that so far, I mean, they're susceptible to the break. Here's another one.
Here come Queen's Park Rangers. Ferdinand has ventured deep inside the Chelsea half, and now Wright Phillips takes over, and there's going to be a yellow card now to Luis. They're really mounting up now, these cards in the game. We've got Mikel, Lampard and Ivanovic from Chelsea all on yellow cards. Derry and Barton from Queen's Park Rangers. Rangers at times in the second half have looked very anxious. The stakes high for them here. Their fans now, 3/4 of this ground they occupy, really making a din. Sounds like there's about 80,000 here, not 18,000. It's a Queen's Park Rangers free kick, and Joey Barton is going to take it, and Cech handles it well away to our left. But of course, now down to 9 men, there's nothing on for him to clear here quickly. Chelsea build from the back. Ashley Cole's given it away, and it's Sean Wright-Phillips now, the former Chelsea man for Queen's Park Rangers. Lays the ball off to Hill, the left back. Infield it goes now to Forlan. Forlan's pass to Tommy Smith. We've got 2 former Watford players now leading the QPR attack, and Wright-Phillips flies into the penalty area. Luis has to be careful, and as he tumbles over and clears, does very well for his side. Chelsea clear, only Anelka downfield. Chelsea trying to get hold of the ball, and Mikel's been fouled by Barton, and it's a free kick to be given there by a very busy referee, Chris Foy.
I think there might have been a foul on Anelka as well there. Blue for the second one. Joey Barton involved, but he's having a sound game. Is the ex-Manchester City and Newcastle player.
20 minutes to go. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0. The 9 men of Chelsea. Free kick to Chelsea. Looking for Anelka. Ferdinand's there in defence and concedes a throw-in. No nonsense clearance there from Anton Ferdinand, getting a bit of abuse from some of the Chelsea fans away to our right. It's a Chelsea throw-in, and of course set pieces and things like this may be their best opportunity, as John Terry and Luis both go into the penalty area away to the right. Chelsea throw-in near side, and it's taken by Ivanovic in towards Luis. Luis was fouled. Surely tumbled over there in the penalty area. Somebody got hold of him.
If he wasn't fouled, and he tried to get a penalty by Paul, there's another foul in the midfield.
Morelos has caught Helgeson, and the shot is driven in from Queen's Park Rangers, and it was Joey Barton, and there's a yellow card now for Morelos for that incident. Another Chelsea player has been booked. And what happened with Luis a few moments ago?
Well, if Luis went down without being touched and tried to get a penalty there, which must have happened in Foy's opinion.
Have a look at it again, David. We're getting a...
Well, he's being held. He's being held, and he goes down a little bit dramatically. But I think then he has a difficult decision. Does he book Luis, which would have mean a red, and he would be off the field, and they'd be left with 8 men.
But if he's being held, is that not a penalty?
Well, I think he was held in the first place, but so many referees are missing, and this holding business that's going on in the box. I think the sooner they give a penalty for someone holding someone, the better, and then people might just think twice about doing it.
Now,
interestingly, Mike, just a quickie, I think a few years ago, Neil Warnock had a situation at QPR when he was down to 9 men, and he got a player, at Sheffield United, when he had a player, and he went to eight men, and the game was abandoned, was it? I think it was Sheffield United v West Bromwich. Thank you very much, my esteemed man on the right. West Brom v Sheffield United, the game was abandoned because they went to 8 men.
Florian Malouda's come on, and I have no idea who's gone off now for Chelsea. Malouda's come on, number 15. And Morelos has gone off. Thank you very much. The gentleman of the press in front, so Morelos may be protection as well, as much as anything else. So Malouda's come on for Morelos. Chelsea are playing with 9 men, if you've just joined our commentary on 5 Live. 6:06 with Alan Green should be fascinating. coming after this game, and now it's Wright Phillips for QPR, who can't finish the game off, and that's not going to happen either. That's too deep to the far post, and it's going to be a goal kick to Chelsea. All this on a day when Manchester City won 6-1 away from home at Manchester United, and David Pleat reminding me at half-time that a few years ago City won 6-1 away from home in the Cup at Luton, I think it was. Dennis Law got 4, had to replay the game, and then he got 5, did he?
I think he got 5.
Right. But when they replayed
he might have scored all the goals. He might have scored all the goals. I'm sure some anorak on Alan Green will ring in and tell us the game was abandoned. Luton won the replay. It was quite an incredible game. I think it was in very muddy conditions, a full house, and the marvellous Dennis Law scored all those goals for Manchester, which came to nothing because the game was abandoned.
Here come Rangers trying to finish the game off. Luke Young's ball in, and Lewis wasn't. There must have been a whistle there. Surely the nonchalant way in which Lewis just took his eye off it completely, but there wasn't. And Luis got away with it, and Queen's Park Rangers have a throw near the corner flag, near side. They lead by 1-0. The goal was a penalty scored after 8 minutes. They haven't been able to get the second, which would surely see off Chelsea here. And it's a throw to Rangers. Magnificent atmosphere here in West London as Queen's Park Rangers sense their first home win in the Premier League for a long, long time. Since the last time they were in the Premier League, of course, back 15 years ago. Ball is out of play. Chelsea not just getting as much of it now as they were, with just over 15 minutes to go. Chelsea throw in near side. Ivanovic, one of the Chelsea substitutes. Remember, if you're just joining 5 Live and World Service, Drogba and Basing were both sent off in the first half. It's Luke Young of Queen's Park Rangers who are playing from right to left here at Loftus Road. Luke Young going forward, just shows too much of that to Ashley Cole. And now Malouda gets a touch and finds Cole down the left-hand side. Cole appeals for handball. Referee says play on. And then Cole trips Barton. And they also might get a yellow card.
Well, that was a yellow card. It was a wasteful ball. Chelsea are all over the place with their discipline. But I will say this, QPR has only, say, 15 minutes to go plus injury time. They've had the advantage of the extra 2 men, the space that they've been able to or should have capitalised on, and they haven't. You know, they haven't really tested Peter Cech too much this half at all, apart from the wonderful opportunity Young had when he tried to square that ball across the box and Cech grabbed it. Really, QPR haven't maximised this advantage at all.
Ashley Cole will miss the Carling Cup game at Everton, but will be free for the Arsenal game next weekend in the Premier League. It's a free kick to Queen's Park Rangers. Joey Barton to take it. And here it comes. Barton's free kick. Oh, and in went Helgeson at the far post, but he couldn't steer it on target. Goes into the Rangers fans behind Cech's goal. Now then, this West Bromwich Albion Sheffield United game that David was alluding to, March 2002. United had 3 players sent off and then 2 more left the field injured. The match was abandoned, but the result stood 3-0 to Albion, and Sheffield United were also fined.
Well done. Excellent.
Back here we are at Loftus Road today with 15 minutes to go. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0. The goal coming early from Helgeson, penalty after a push by Louise. So much incident, so many talking points for the 2 managers afterwards. Just about everybody in the Chelsea side's been booked, apart from John Terry, who's on the ball now. Terry getting the boos from the fans.
Make no mistake, if Chelsea get a corner, someone will go down and definitely try and get a penalty. This might be the only way back into this game.
David, they came out really strongly, buoyed by Villas-Boas. I don't know whether it's the fact they've only got 9 men now and the energy perhaps isn't quite there, but there isn't quite the threat now from Chelsea that there was earlier, is there?
No, I think they put in a great effort. You know, we saw Terry going up front, we saw Louise running with the ball. It is really, really difficult because the other team really should be playing in deck chairs. I mean, it should be relatively easy for them if they're good professionals, making the ball do the work. But I don't think they play that well, QPR, in this half, considering they've got the 2 extra men.
Queen's Park Rangers 1, 9 men of Chelsea 0. Cech a long way out of his goal, scoops the ball into the Rangers half. Louise's turn to go forward this time and has to settle for the throw-in off the head of Ferdinand. Throw into Chelsea, inside the Rangers half. Thrown by Ivanovic. Ferdinand is there, but it's a soft header from... Oh, and then just Hill bundles Anelka over. And now we do get the free kick that David was talking about, because it's a chance for John Terry now to go into the penalty area, and Luis and Ivanovic. Ivanovic says to Malouda, just calm down, take your time. Luis urges all the Chelsea fans behind Kenny to still have hope here. So Malouda, the Frenchman, with a left-footed free kick. 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. 12 minutes to go. Anelka, Luis, Terry, Ivanovic, all in the area. Lampard on the edge of the area. All the Rangers players apart from one back. In goes the free kick from Malouda. Terry can't reach it. Headed away by QPR. QPR looking to try and counter-attack here. But in will step Malouda, and he'll just smash that to the far side. Long way it travels. Out of play for a Queen's Park Rangers throw.
Well, frantic football at its fiercest. It really is a battle here. If Chelsea get the ball in the box and get a break, they still have a little bit of a chance of getting this equaliser. They put in a massive physical effort. The Rangers supporters still cheering their team to the rafters. They know the significance of a victory against Chelsea, no matter how it is achieved.
Earlier today, the start of the day, a famous rugby union victory for the All Blacks. Here, the All Blacks of Chelsea. It will be a famous victory if they win this. They'll settle for a draw at the moment. They're trailing 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. They only have 9 men, and it's been like that since the first half. Derry's weak header now for Queen's Park Rangers, and Lampard flicks the ball to his right and finds Malouda. Lampard wants to return. Malouda gives it to Ivanovic. What's the cross going to be like? And it goes towards Anelka. Oh! Headed it straight at Kenny. Wonderful opportunity for Anelka. He had the goal at his mercy, and he headed it straight at the Rangers goalkeeper.
Brilliant ball by Basinga. Absolutely put it on a sixpence for Anelka. He won't get a better chance. And I have to say, I'm looking at Neil Warnock now, I'm wondering why he doesn't make a change. There's 1 or 2 players, even though they've got the 2 extra men, who have definitely faded. Sean Derry being one in the middle of the midfield. I think Forlan's found it hard. It's quite amazing. I could not have predicted the effort and the amount of play that Chelsea have had, considering they were 2 men short at half-time.
That surely, though, was the moment for Chelsea to get back into the game.
Oh, it won't get a better chance. It was a wonderful chance, and he just headed it too cleanly. Great ball, outside of his right foot, pinged right on the edge of the 6-yard box. Beautiful ball. And really, he's just got to steer the ball down, and Kenny would have had no chance at all.
Neil Warnock's coming out with Keith Cole to talk to the Rangers players, because there's an injury to Derry, who I think is going to have to be replaced here. Don't forget, earlier today, United 1, City 6. City running away with things at the moment at the top of the Premier League. Arsenal 3, Stoke 1. Van Persie came off the bench to get a couple. Fulham 1, Everton 3. Blackburn 1, Spurs 2. 2 from Van der Vaart there for Spurs. In the SPL, Hearts 0, Rangers 2, Celtic 2, Aberdeen 1. In the Championship, Bristol City 0, Birmingham 2. And in the cricket, India beat England in the one-day international by 6 wickets. So we're going to have a forced change here. Derry is coming off, and we're just looking down to see who's going to take his place here. Much discussion going down below us there. We're into the last 10 minutes of the game as Derry gets great applause from this main stand, and Rangers prepare his replacement, who is going to be Jamie Mackie. So Mackie, the unlucky Mackie this year, of course, got that horrible injury in the FA Cup in January, came back though to play against Blackburn, the team he was injured against. Scottish international Mackie is on, looks like he'll play down the right-hand side at the moment, and I think the Rangers fans thought that Chelsea should have given the ball back, but they didn't. And now in midfield, Queen's Park Rangers will try and counter-attack with a long thud downfield from Barton, and Cech volleyed the ball out of his penalty area straight back to the home side of Queen's Park Rangers, leading here by 1-0. Now Luis for Chelsea, one of those players on a yellow card. Lovely skills from the young Brazilian. Luis now onto Anelka. Anelka in the area, has to steady himself here, turns, Anelka chips to the far post, overhead kick from Luis. Oh, and it bounced off Lampard and over the bar for a goal kick to Queen's Park Rangers.
Brilliant overhead kick by Luis. It was Lampard that got in the way. It was 5 yards out. Lampard makes a wry smile towards his Portuguese colleague. I have to say, he's been a terror, but he's also a terrier, is Luis. A great run by Anelka. Brilliant run. Couldn't quite get his right foot shot in. Turned back, hit it with his left foot across the box, and Luis did an acrobatic overhead kick that probably deserved better.
Nigel Adderley reminds me that Chelsea's 6 yellows and 2 red cards today will trigger an FA charge for failing to control their players. That's for the future. Here we've got around about 7 minutes of normal time. Rangers, even though they're playing 9 men, are clearly wasting a bit of time here over the clearance from goalkeeper Paddy Kenny. Remember, they've had 2 good away wins, Queen's Park Rangers, this season, but they haven't won here yet at Loftus Road. They're leading 1-0, and considering they're playing 9 men, they're hanging on a bit. Throw into Queen's Park Rangers. Good running from Helgeson. Across comes Luis. The ball is spinning away to the far side. Wright Phillips gives chase, and it's going to be a goal kick for Cech in the Chelsea goal. Well, Lampard had a header deflected just wide right at the start of the second half. Anelka had probably the best chance that Chelsea had. He headed it straight at the goalkeeper. And then that incident a few moments ago, as Chelsea now build from the back. And anybody just coming into the stadium now, it would take them a while to work out that Chelsea were playing with 9 men, I think. Ball is going to be out of play here, and it's going to be Chelsea's throw-in, I think. Very hard to see the touchline down there as Villas-Boas comes chasing out of his dugout there to kick the ball to the Chelsea players so that they can get on with the game here. Luis is already in the penalty area with Terry. Terry can't get the header. Goes down looking for a push inside the penalty area. Lampard's quick to react over on the far side, and it's Ashley Cole of Chelsea. 1-0 they trail. Onto Anelka, very tight for Anelka with the Rangers tackles going in. Anelka emerges with the ball, has to hold it up, and the whistle's gone. I have no idea. John Terry's now eyeball to eyeball with Anton Ferdinand. And don't forget 606 with Alan Green coming straight after this. 0500 909 693 on what has been an amazing day in the Premier League.
In all the mayhem, I have to say how difficult it is for a referee when the confrontation is such as it is today. It couldn't have been easy for Mr. Foy. He's got to make all the major decisions. He's the centre of attention. All the discussion is going to be about him. And he still has to give yellow cards when he sees it, red cards when he sees it. He won't be popular anywhere tonight, maybe in his own household.
Well, once upon a time, Queen's Park Rangers did used to sweep aside Chelsea in league football, but of course things have changed dramatically over the last few years. This is going to be a real feather in their cap, notwithstanding the fact that they're playing 9 men. We're into the last 5 minutes. We'll have, I would think, 3 minutes certainly of added time, as Sean Wright Phillips now receives down the left-hand side, and Luis has to back off here. Wright Phillips for Chelsea. Can he get the ball in? And it runs a long way into the penalty area. It'll be collected by Luke Young. Young gives the ball back into midfield, and Barton back again to Young. Players waiting, 3 of them in the penalty area for Queen's Park Rangers. Hasn't come in yet. Now it might. Chance here for Tommy Smith to turn, but he has to part with the ball once more. Queen's Park Rangers retain possession. Now it comes back into midfield, and Forlan picks out Sean Wright Phillips. Can Wright Phillips finish Chelsea off here? His shot straight at Luis. Luis standing firm at the back now for Chelsea. Rangers have to retreat. It's given to the left back Hill. Now back with Wright Phillips once more. There are 3 Rangers players waiting in the penalty area. Oh, and then it's wasted by Wright Phillips. He drives it hard into the fans behind Cech's goal. And we have 3.5 minutes to go. 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers.
I think we've got a problem here with Luis is injured. Now he's getting up. It was him that was trying to usher Wright Phillips away with his shot. But the young manager, in my eyes today, has shown something of the Mourinho's quality. Mourinho was very good at making substitutions, very good at changing his system, and there have been so many changes that he's had to make today as the events of, partly because of his own players' indiscipline, have gone against him. But his second half effort of his team has been truly remarkable.
He knows all about West London derbies now. It looks like Ivanovic has been sent up front now. Ivanovic has gone downfield to partner Nicolas Anelka. Lampard's trying to win the tackle here against Wright Phillips and sends the ball out of play in towards Villas-Boas, who hands the ball to Queen's Park Rangers so they can take the throw in on the halfway line. 2.5 minutes of normal time to go. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0. Mackie wants the ball down that right-hand side. Throw in to QPR, headed away by Ivanovic. He's had to come back now to do a little bit of marking, and John Terry scuffs his clearance towards the halfway line. Lewis going in with Joey Barton, and Lewis just nudges Barton down. He has to be careful here, Lewis. David talking about indiscipline. He's on a yellow card. The crowd are howling off. No way, I don't think, is Chris Foy going to reduce Chelsea to 8 men here. And the referee looks at his watch, aware of the fact that Chelsea will take as much time as they can. Mikel is actually going to collect the ball. So we have, on the clock, 2 minutes of normal time to go. There should be 3 or 4 minutes now of time to be added on. Return game, by the way, between these two, right at the end of April. It's a free kick to Queen's Park Rangers.
The return bout.
And Anton Ferdinand sweeps the ball forward. Only finds the head of Chelsea's Ivanovic. Whistle's gone, though, by the referee. Offside flagged over on the far side. There may be one more chance for Chelsea to get players downfield. And we're looking, too, at the fourth official down there as Andre Villas-Boas motions for everybody to move downfield. Long kick from the goalkeeper, Petr Cech. John Terry challenges for it. And Rangers pondering on the edge of the area. Eventually the back pass to Kenny. And then he's caught as he clears. Kenny by John Terry. John Terry speaks to the goalkeeper. They square up in the penalty area way to the right. Bubbling under all afternoon it's been here at Loftus Road. Once more Chris Foy, with eyes in the back of his head, has to sort this out. He's speaking at the moment to Ivanovic, and he shows inevitably a yellow card to John Terry, and presumably one now to the QPR goalkeeper Kenny. Oh, he hasn't yet. He's talking to him, and now I think he will.
Well, Kenny went down like a ton of bricks there.
So, as we've said, just about everyone wearing a Chelsea shirt today has either been booked or sent off. Still, Ivanovic is talking. No idea where the ball is. The ball is out of play, and it's going to be a Chelsea throw-in. So, a Chelsea throw with...
It's given a free kick, I think, to QPR. I think so.
Oh, Luis now does give the ball back. And the way they were lining up in the penalty area way to the right, I was expecting a long throw. But anyway, John Terry still talking to the referee. We'll look down and see the fourth official showing us 5 minutes of added time, just to prolong the agony for both sets of supporters here, really, with QPR so close to beating Chelsea, and still a bit of work to do.
Well, it looks as though Manchester City have been the clear winners today. Tottenham have stolen a march, of course, on Liverpool, but what a day for Manchester City.
Wright Phillips now juggling with the ball up against Mikel, and he's gone past Mikel. Wright Phillips for Queen's Park Rangers in the penalty area. Shot comes in, half saved by Cech. Clearance completed by Frank Lampard. Rangers getting numbers downfield, forcing Chelsea back inside their own half. And it's a stooping header from John Terry back to his goalkeeper, Petr Cech. Right from the start here, it's been a ferocious afternoon in this West London derby. As Ivanovic now gives chase down by the corner flag away to our right. It's not over yet. Ivanovic throws himself down very dramatically looking for the free kick, but Rangers make a mistake. They don't clear. Malouda now looking to try and pick out Cole. Cole's header right across the goal, and Paddy Kenny's there to save it.
Well, once again, a great chance. Ashley Cole had got into the angle of the 6-yard box, and he needed to head it accurately across the goal. It wasn't accurate enough. Kenny pinched the ball.
Well, Neil Warnock's team just need some possession now. They just need to hang on to the ball, but they've lost it once more. And Malouda now moving forward for Chelsea. He's got players left and right and also down the centre. Malouda tried to squirt it forward towards Frank Lampard. Can only find defender Ferdinand at the back for Queen's Park Rangers. 5 minutes of added time we're playing as Mackie now sets off down the right-hand side, taking Ashley Cole with him. And we have 3.5 minutes of added time here at Loftus Road. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0. Barton now spreading the play, finding Wright Phillips. Wright Phillips in the penalty area. Gives it back under instruction once more to Joey Barton, and Barton may lose this on the edge of the penalty area. Tackles go in, Lampard, and now Chelsea overrun the ball as they try and clear, and it's out of play down that far side, and have Queen's Park Rangers come through it now, I think. Throw into them halfway inside Chelsea's half, the far side, the right.
Quite breathless, the action. So many players on QPR have run the ball when they should have passed the ball, given Chelsea chances to intercept. The effort of Chelsea in the second half has really been magnificent, considering they've had 9 men. But of course, the overriding feature of the game will be the indiscipline and the decisions that probably cost Chelsea the game.
Talking points for 6:06, and by the way, now 9 Chelsea players have been showed a card of some description by Chris Foy today. 2 red and 7 yellow. It's a Queen's Park Rangers free kick in the meantime, with 2.5 minutes of added time to go. They've taken it short down the right-hand side. Chelsea desperate to get the ball downfield. It's all very tight for them at the back, though, and Rangers have won it back in midfield through Forlan. They just need to keep it tight now. They just need to keep the ball. Ashley Cole's going to have to play this in the left-back area, under pressure from Barton, who's pushed him over, and in fact, he leaves the free kick now for Czech, because they'll need Ashley Cole as well downfield. Will Chelsea? Into the last 2 minutes of added time. 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. Long ball downfield by Czech. Ivanovic jumped early but couldn't head it on. And now Queen's Park Rangers looking to clear, but they eventually do get the ball into Chelsea's territory. Mikel will come across, but it's run out of play for a Chelsea throw-in. 1.5 minutes to go. Chelsea reorganised at half-time. The 9 men, they came out, they were a real threat at the start of the second half. Queen's Park Rangers haven't been able to finish them off, but they're within sight now of the 3 points on a great day for Manchester City. Aimless ball this time from the back from Chelsea. John Terry, playing on the right wing at the moment, won't get that. What he'll do is he'll collect the ball and he'll throw it to QPR so that they can take the throw inside their own half. Everyone stands up unto us. John Terry comes back into view. We have just over a minute to go. What a game it's been for the referee here, Chris Foy. He couldn't really argue with either of the red cards, I don't think, in the first half. Basingwa for pulling back Wright Phillips. And then the two-footed challenge from Didier Drogba on Terrat, who showed dissent when he was replaced. It's Chelsea's throw-in. One more chance. Last minute of added time. 40 seconds to go. David Luiz with the ball. They need to do something quickly here. Ball is back to Luiz. Can he get the cross into the area? No, he's won himself a free kick, and I would have thought Petr Cech, yes he will. Cech even will go forward now to try and give Chelsea even more numbers in the QPR. This could be the last kick of the game here as Cech goes into the penalty area. Mikel as well. Only Ashley Cole is staying back. The 9 men of Chelsea trying to save the game here, right at the end. And Cech, the goalkeeper, is going to go forward and try and get on the end of this. And it goes. Kenny was struggling with a punch, and Nelker wouldn't sit for him on the edge of the area. And if Rangers break, Cech is out of goal. Ashley Cole will try and tidy up over on the far side. I think the final whistle's gone. The final whistle's gone. It was a good thing too for Ashley Cole. The final whistle did go, because that could have been another yellow card at the end of the game for him. But Rangers have held on here to beat Chelsea by 1-0. There is still pushing between players from both sides. It's never stopped really right from the start. It's been a massive local derby here, just like the one in Manchester. And at the end of it, it has been a day to remember for the locals here. They won through a penalty. That doesn't tell half the story. We've had 9 Chelsea players booked. We've had 7 yellow cards and 2 red cards. And the final summing up, if you can, David, on what you've just seen.
Well, it was breathless, it was frantic, it was frenetic. Players lost discipline. Helgeson's penalty separates the sides. The effort that the 9 men Chelsea gave in the second half and the way that the manager organised his forces was truly magnificent. I really do believe there was far too much indiscipline. There were some poor refereeing moments also, but once Basinga and Drogba had left the field, it was a mountain for Chelsea. But in the second half, amazingly, Anelka had a fantastic chance, and Cole too, heading across the box, might have scored. QPR just couldn't keep the ball, they didn't work the ball, and Chelsea, as I say, came and came. Could have lost goals on the counter, but really Petr Cech in the second half could not have believed at half-time that he would have been so inactive playing behind 8 men. It was truly an incredible game.
Well, Chelsea might have been lifted by the fact that Manchester United had lost at home to Manchester City, but it was Rangers who came out, and it was Rangers, they wanted it to be their day. It was in the end. Overall, though, it's been a magnificent day for Manchester City. The final score here at Loftus Road, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0. That's Rangers' first home victory of the season in the Premier League.
Thank you very much to our commentary team who are at Loftus Road today, to Mike Ingham, to Nigel Adderley and to David Pleat. Actually, David, I can reveal that Adel Taarabt has not left on the bus, because I've just seen him in his tracksuit congratulating the rest of the players, so maybe something's changed in his mindset. I mean, there was no question in your mind that the 2 Chelsea players should have been sent off?
No, I think they were deserved sending offs maybe. The one on the wide outside, I think Basinga, I think that some referees would have just given a yellow for that. They were a little pushing against each other as Wright Phillips got on the inside. I think the other one, Drogba, there can be no excuses for Drogba. Drogba jumped in, you know, he wasn't really high with his studs, but he jumped in. You can't go in two-footed. It was a reckless challenge, and for a reckless challenge, the answer is red.
Yeah, well, on that first one, I've seen a few replays of it. There was a bit of shirt pulling as well, and I wonder whether that had something to do with it. It's Neil Warnock out on the pitch celebrating there with that victory over Chelsea, their first victory for many, many years. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Chelsea 0. It goes along with Arsenal 3, Stoke 1, Fulham 1, Everton 3.